Hello. I don't know why I did that voice, but I did.
Annabelle may not be a Texan,
Oh my
but she's
God.
certainly a person who enjoys a steak.
Also, we're missing an Andy.
Oh no.
Where did Andy go?
I'm not supposed to talk.
I mean, in the game.
I can't.
Oh.
I can't be in there.
Oh well.
We'll have to keep her up to date with what is going on, and someone else will have to roll for her. I believe, Danny, you already have access to her. I think you already have access to her character sheet, Danny, don't you?
I believe so, yes. Give me a second. I'm doing Link Bomb, and after I am done doing Link Bomb, I will check.
I'm just saying for the sake of it, if we need to use Andy's sheet.
Yeah, I know.
At least we actually have the Andy here.
Yee.
By the way, apologies. Oh, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
I was just going to say, apologies, stream, if I do not talk much at the beginning of the stream, except for right now because of this. I am currently eating my dinner.
Also, remind me, because for some reason I was dumb and didn't write it down, Annabelle's stuff during the 3-day period would be using her special item, looking for ingredients, specifically Blightbone, Golden Root, as well as Toadstool.
The specific ones were Golden Root and Yellow Toadstool. Yes. The Blightbone Elixir is something she would just be passively searching for, while trying to use the last of the 3 days to find anything new. Okay.
And then it was sending the letter and anything else?
Okay. Yeah.
The sending the letter happened on the first day that I was able to.
Yeah, if a roll needs to happen for Narcissa, I can do it because I do have access to her sheet. I will open that up real fast just in case.
Okay.
So yeah, do you want me to roll for stuff?
We can in a little bit. I just wanted to make sure, because I wanted to make sure I was on the right spot for my notes. Because I'm currently flipping through a bunch of stuff right now.
I don't know if stream caught it last time, but we all are now level 3.
Yeah, they leveled up because werewolves.
Lots of werewolves. Really went back to back with some major encounters there.
I mean, hey, life happens. Sometimes things happen, people die, fun stuff. Fun stuff.
To reiterate what Annabelle said last week, oh, we just dealt with this a week ago.
Congratulations, you get to deal with it again. And again.
Shit.
It's funny hearing you swear.
Yes. I do not swear very much.
Yeah, I am so used to not hearing you swear whenever we speak outside of game and everything, and then in game and just all of a sudden to hear you say shit.
Hey, characters aren't me. I'm allowed to swear as that.
You're allowed to swear anyway because you're an adult. You just choose not to.
And it's a very personal choice, which I will adhere to very strictly.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's weird to hear you swear when you're a character is all it is.
I am here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna push to talk.
It's okay.
Family, life stuff happens. But I have many eclairs.
So many eclairs.
Did you say many or mini? As in mini. Like tiny ones or a lot?
Do you have many eclairs?
Many minis.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Many eclairs served on many serving trays.
But there's a temporary thing going on, but as soon as my sister gets back home again, I'll be able to go to my laptop. I'm really sorry, guys.
Well, until then, since I have access to Narcissa's sheet, I have it open, so if a roll needs to be done for her, I can roll it for you.
And this time I can actually, speak as her.
Yeah! Anyway, would we want to do...
I got a hint of I hint frustration there. Is everything okay?
It was just because of what she decided to have Narcissa do when I had to read for Narcissa last time.
I said I'm sorry.
Banging in the hotel.
I'm just giving you shit and you know it.
But yeah, we should probably get started.
Our usual thing of players introduce themselves and their character with the DM going last.
Yes.
Alright, so...
You're dumb.
Hi. I'm Andy. I play Narcissa, Tiefling Warlock. She got some new fun stuff and learned some new fun.
Hello, I am Ash, or Jim. I play Annabelle, the human artificer, who quite frankly has had a bit enough of this adventuring shot for a day.
I'm Danny Voop, and I play Miki, the Solwedal Kinku monk, and adventuring's not as fun as I thought it would be.
I just love breaking people's spirits. It's fun.
You haven't broken Annabelle yet, not Hunter.
Give me another week.
I am Small. I play Torgrim, the fighter dwarf.
Hi, I'm Night Hunter. I am the disaster tour guide. I mean, the dungeon master for this group. Anywho.
To be fair, both are accurate.
Yeah. Looks at notes and all the crossed out things. Yes. Yes.
And all of these people are dead.
I mean, most of them, yeah. Alrighty.
That's not gonna stop some of them.
Nope. Shall we begin?
Of course.
Alrighty. So, last we left off, our adventurers returned back from their fun little... They had returned back from their fun little adventure, the contract work from Toril. Their payment, met some looks at the name of a certain gnome, interesting characters, as well as made their way around the town to look into purchasing a few other items. After the day's activities, they went back to the inn, and some went to sleep, some went and had a little bit of fun and revelry. Until there were some uninvited guests that decided to make their presence known. The party then dispatched of the werewolf that was inside the inn, and then made their way outside, seeing that, oh hey, buildings are on fire and people are dying everywhere. Oh good lord, that's a lot of werewolves. After quite a long fight, and slaying of one of the pack alphas, let's call them, the party has had a bit of a reprieve, as the city is no longer burning to the ground. The death count has been figured, the walls have been reformed, and now we return to the city limping back along. So, because some of our players currently are unable to make rolls, and some are just eating in general. Let's see here. I guess that means we start with Miki.
Okay.
Because everyone's doing stuff right now. Alright, didn't think this was happening right away, but, well, circumstances be damned.
Well, I think Small's available. Tolgrim could go first.
Also, I can go. I'm almost done.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Well, if that's the case, I would like everyone to roll me a d20 to see who's going to end up going first in this little venture. I didn't know who was where, and that's 6 roundabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
First one's for Miki, and then I'll roll a second one for Narcissa, okay?
Okay.
There's a 13 for Miki, and just to differentiate them, I'll set that one to roll as my name. And there's a 19 for Narcissa.
7
Of course.
for Torgrim.
All right. Well,
Annabelle could never go first.
So, Narcissa, the first things that you ended up sending me, currently, both Toril and Silren are currently have prior obligations over the course of the first 2 days. A lot of meetings of the council that they are on, as well as attempting to better fortify the city against something like this, and to figure out how exactly this happened. So, for the first 2 days, those two are not taking just general calls from people, except for a certain owl that has made her way to the bank that a certain dragon runs.
Alright, I imagine if I can't get a hold of them for the first 2 days, then the other stuff that I wanted to do will take place. Because you said it will take me a day to go to Steel Harbor to talk with the Imps.
Correct.
So at the first day, if Narcissus is like, "Hey, neither of them available," I'm just gonna head over to Steel Harbor. She's gonna let the party know, like, "Hey, I have some business in Steel Harbor I have to attend to."
Basically, so people know where she went.
Yeah. Also, seeing kind of what size Torgrim is for armor.
Alrighty. So, you make it to Steel Harbor with no issue. And you said you were going to speak with the Imps, correct?
Yes.
Alright, you come upon the familiar sight of a very tall and gangly-looking fishman just kind of sitting in a chair and just kind of staring off into space. Very, he looks like he's kind of half awake. However, he's also currently just, like, sharpening a knife on a grindstone. It's really weird. But this is normal from what you can tell of this thing, of him.
Alright, Narcissus just kind of wave her hand in front of his face, going, "Hello?"
Oh, well, hello there. What can I do for... Oh, you haven't been here for a little bit. What can I do for you?
Yes. I would like to know how much it would be to make armor for a dwarf. You know,
Well,
breastplate.
Well, that's gonna depend on a few things. You said breastplate for a dwarf. I would need his measurements if this is specifically a custom job. Also, there are a few factors I would ask that you also consider. Is this are you wanting this to be normal armor, or did you want there to be a little something else for this?
Well, I do have his approximate measurements. And what other things can you add to armor?
Well, there is the ability to potentially add some enchantments, depending on how much coin you're wanting to spend. But if we are just talking about the base amount for a custom set, we're looking at roughly 450 gold pieces.
All right. I imagine you don't work in leather armor?
Say again. Sorry, that weird bubble came out of my ear.
I imagine you do not work in leather armor.
That would. Which one would do that? That's probably number 3 specialty, if anything.
I'd like to look into the potential of getting enchanted leather armor.
Oh, okay. I can go get 3 for you. Hey, 3! Oh, look! There's someone wanting some leather armor, potentially, out here. I'll be out there in a minute. Okay, he said he'll be out in a minute.
That sounds lovely. Do you teach forging?
Depends. If there is someone who is more so already forging inclined, like that dwarven Oh. 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 Well, if it's if it were for someone like that dwarven friend of yours, yes, because he already knows more than likely the basics of smithing as well as properly utilizing the forge. However, we don't actively teach those who are, shall we say, beginners. Usually,
Right.
if we ever are teaching someone, it is because they already have the basics down, so to speak.
Well, you seem like a very knowledgeable fellow. Do you know where I could possibly learn to forge?
Well, depending on how in-depth you're gonna go in terms of this, you might be able to find a few people probably within the bigger city over yonder that way. He points to the direction of the burning forest. A lot of people over there will usually teach you how to do it from the bare basics for a nominal fee. But if you're looking to just pick up a few quick tips, honestly, you're dwarven, and he does like these weird like fish with like very strange webbed fingers. So it looks like they're not. He's trying to do the air quotes, but he's actively, not actively, but actively trying to stop the ring finger from moving upwards as well to do these. If honestly, you could probably speak with your friend, and does the weird air quotes about just getting some quick tips. Honestly, he probably could teach you, and you wouldn't have to pay him.
Narcissus is just going to put down the money for the armor. 450, you said, right?
Yes, for the basic breastplate, yes, 450 is what we would be doing.
Yes, she puts it down.
Alrighty, come on back in about half an hour, and it should be ready for you.
Thank you. And she's just gonna wait then for the other imp to come out to talk about her leather armor.
Okay. It takes just a little bit for him to collect the gold as well as you see him grabbing different tools and materials that he's gonna use to actually craft the breastplate. And he heads into the back. And then the other one just kind of walks out. He looks like, the other one, number 3, looks like he has just actually grabbed a fresh, large piece of hide. Already. I said there was someone out here who was looking to get into some leather armor, maybe.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Currently I have studded leather armor. I know that's probably the best I can get at the moment. But I was looking into maybe getting in possibly enchanted leather armor.
Enchanted leather armor? Or what type of enchantments were you looking for? Is there anything specific, or...?
Just something to make me a bit tougher to hit.
He starts stroking his non-existent beard with his webbed hand. How much gold were you looking to put in on this?
200. I mean, if it costs more, then I'll put down more.
Well, let me go see if we have anything available currently that is in that price range. Give me but a moment. And he walks back into that little area. I'd like you to roll a. I'd like you to kind of roll a perception check for this, please.
Alright, I got it. Don't worry. 20.
Okay. So every time they say, oh, they're in the back, there's only this one spot. Think about the size of a broom closet. That is the size of their place. There is that little, back corner piece, and then there is the outside area that you walk up to that has the tools, that has, the grindstone and everything. So they keep just walking back into a supply closet, essentially, is what it's like. And you have actively seen one go in there earlier, one come out, and then the other one go back in there.
It's probably like their sleeves.
Currently, you're just imagining, all 9 of them back there. Oh, hi. Alright, so you were wanting... Leather armor. Let's see here. And you said you were looking to spend about 200, right?
Mm-hmm. If it helps, I can give them my current armor to put enchantment on it.
Okay. So it'll end up costing less if you give them the current armor that you have. However, were you looking to sell off that armor at all, or?
No.
Okay. So you would be able to get it enchanted for roughly... To get yours enchanted for a...
Honestly, if it's like a +1 enchantment, I'm fine.
Yeah, to get yours enchanted for a +1, that would cost you about 120 gold pieces.
Cool with me.
Okay.
So you said 120. I'm just keeping track of money as I'm spending it.
120.
You said 120? Alright,
Yes.
120. Alright, I already subtracted the amount for Torgrim's armor. And I'll gladly put that out, as well as give them the armor that they need.
Okay. Currently, you're getting the initial imp you were speaking to walks out of that little supply closet with constructed breastplate that he's currently kind of unpiecing together to kind of wrap it up, and then the other one comes back with your armor, and it is you are kind of you do notice that he's kind of holding it a different way than when he initially walked in, probably because he just got done enchanting this.
Alright. So I would actually like to do the talk with my patron, probably spending the night in Steel Harbor.
Okay.
And leaving early in the morning, because Narcissa would feel a bit more comfortable doing that away from the party, so they don't know yet. Because then when she gets back, after the talk with Toril, if she can talk with Toril and Cyril, and then she'll have her moment with Toril, with the learning Dwarvish and all. So, buying a room for the night, Narcissa will probably end up kind of setting Eloise on the bed and just making sure a fire is lit in the fireplace, and tossing in the werewolf hair, and it takes a moment because she doesn't want to let go of the tooth, but she knows she has to, so she's gonna toss the tooth into the fire as well.
Alright. So, the tuft of hair catches in the flames, as well as the tooth. Oddly enough, the tooth is beginning to actually burn because of what you're doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a small little increase in the flame, a small little ball of purple flame just kind of floats out towards you.
Lady.
Yes?
I have concerns over this most recent werewolf attack.
It is indeed strange.
I have seated concerns that this is the work of Celios and what he did before, but I have a feeling that it's probably more than that.
There are indeed shifts in the wind, as well as new things lurking in the dark. However, my eyes have yet to be able to catch them in the end.
But do you know the Dragon Toro?
Know of him. An ancient being of great power, not one to be taken lightly, as well as not one to be so easily misjudged.
Seems he knows a lot about you.
We've had dealings in the past.
Would it be breaking my contract to find out more through him about you?
He's not at liberty to say, and nor am I at liberty to talk about him.
I understand.
Think of it as a preventative measure. I'm certain you wouldn't like it if I were to go around speaking of you.
No.
Is there anything else, my dear?
I've been having more and more thoughts on my father. I worry. I left so suddenly that I'm afraid that whoever attacked Eloise might end up trying to go back and attacking him.
Concerns like this are well-founded. The place you once called home is changing. Be it for better or for worse, these changes are happening quite quickly.
Oh, yay. Is he alive?
I can't give you every answer, my dear. There are some things that you have to do for me. Offerings like this are nice, but other favors are necessary.
I am at your service.
I have heard and seen some unsettling things.
Really?
Indeed.
Where?
There is a place a bit far away from here. Some things that were once dormant, now stirring and lurking in places they shouldn't be. Creatures that are considered abhorrent to me, as well as others, now rise in open dissension.
It must be where? There must be the runes that
These
talked
things
about.
these things must be dealt with. Swiftly, quickly. And no matter what they are, who they once were, they cannot be shown mercy, or else they will spread like the disease they are.
I will find them, and I will root them out.
There's a bit of a pause. Very brief. Almost as if she's wanting to give you another piece of information, but not sure how to properly give it. That land, that little grove you keep frequenting, be cautious there.
Yes, yes.
Very well. Until next time. The ball of flame is gone, and the fire turns from that deep purple back to its bright orange and red flickering.
Is the tooth there?
The tooth is no longer there. The tuft of hair is no longer there.
So that night, she's gonna kind of look at Eloise and go, you know, sometimes I really wish she could still talk and give me better advice than I can give myself. She's gonna scratch on. She's gonna scratch her on the side of the face. Despite your youth, you're always much smarter than me. And then eventually she's going to head back to the Burning Forest to then have the talk with, possibly have more, so the talk with Toril, and then possibly have the talk with Sylvan, and then, you know, do the stuff with Pact to the Blade and all.
Okay. On your way back, you do notice that the security to get into the city is where once it was increased, it is now much more increased. There are two of those giant constructs standing outside each of the gates, as well as a bunch of guards.
How hard am I getting pat down?
All of your magical items are being looked at strenuously. Your weapons are currently being kind of inspected to see if there's like rigged or anything for some reason. Also, you're being kind of like looked over, and they may or may not have collected a vial of blood.
That's not disconcerting at all. Okay. So who am I talking to first out of all of them?
Well, the construct that is there walks up first and sticks a hand out like, stop. And then 3 guards approach to kind of go very much the TSA of, put these belongings in this bin, put this over here, no shoes, please remove your hat, ma'am, do this and that.
Are they inspecting the bird?
Yes, they are inspecting the bird. One of them is like holding onto the bird, staring at it intently. And Eloise is just looking at him. This one's clear. And puts the bird back on your shoulder.
Alright. So when I get into this, do I get any other things taken away from me? Do they take my hat?
No, they don't take anything away from you, like, for good. Just like to go, okay, this is what this is, this is what this is, this is what this is. And then they give it back to you, and then you're let in.
Okay, cool.
It's literally it's literally the security check at it is literally going through TSA.
Fun. So out of the things I have to do, am I talking with Torgrim first, or am I talking with Toril? I imagine this kind of out of the question.
This would be considered day 2 of everything. So your best bet, considering that both Toril and Silren are preoccupied for the first 2 days, unless they had prior appointments set up, would be Torgrim.
All right, Torgrim. Okay, makes sense. I've been lugging this heavy set of armor with me.
Yeah, you kind of want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It is very uncomfortable and very cumbersome.
Alright, so I'm gonna go into the inn where I figure Torgrim is. Or at least I hope he is.
He's been given a different room, for sure, easily enough, considering the last one kind of has a hole in it.
Yeah, because that's the room we were sharing. It's gonna, like, kind of knock on the door with, like, my foot, like, kind of, like, with my knee. Like, you know how, like, if you have your hands full, you have to, like, do stuff with, like, your leg?
Yes.
Basically,
I had to do that earlier, but yes.
She kind of, like, knocks on the door with her, like, knee to, like, get Torgrim's attention if he's in there.
Torgrim happens to be in there, and he opens up the door. Oh, you're back. He notices, she's kind of lugging the heavy armor and, offers to take it out of her hands.
No. It's good. She kind of, like, nudges him out of the way and sets it on the bed.
Kind of rolls his eyes at her.
Whatever. As a gift to you for being a good sport and, being a good friend. And after all the attacks we've been through, I figured you can use at least something a bit nicer than what you had. And she will present him with the breastplate.
He will, his eyes will sparkle a little, like, he really likes this armor. He inspects it and is like, you got this custom made.
Mm-hmm.
You sly dog. He's gonna give her a hug.
I couldn't take you with me. Then I'd ruin the surprise.
Yeah, that's fair. You didn't have to. Probably cost you a good penny,
But I wanted to. You're my friend, Torgrim.
Just gonna, like, smile and just, like, well, in return, I guess I get to take you out sometime, hmm?
Oh, you don't have to.
It would be a pleasure to. I can't have you going around spending, like, what, a couple $100 gold on me?
400.
I can't have you spending that money on me.
Well, before, we decided to do that, I wanted to see if you would follow through with those pointers you could give me, because I want to learn to handle something better than a dagger.
I could do that. I could do that right now if you want.
Alright, your sister's gonna kind of settle up on the bed, sitting with her legs underneath her, paying very close attention to him.
What weapon are you wanting to learn?
Well, it's not a particular weapon, it's more so... She kind of, like, motions to, like, the weapons he has. You have things that require much skill and, a lot more than just picking up a knife and throwing it.
Yeah, that's fair. He's looking towards his weapons, trying to, like, which one would be the lightest? He's like, we can start with the great sword. If you want to pick out a different weapon, because, all of my weapons are pretty much two-handed and heavy. If you need to go pick out a lighter weapon, you can go pick one up.
Oh, I wanted to show you something. And she kind of puts out her hand, her left hand, where she knows she casts spells from. You've seen her cast spells from it. And from it, she will form her pact weapon, which is a rapier.
As she sticks out her left hand, there's a very faint bit of, as you've seen before, Torgrim, the magic that she sometimes uses kind of resembles this dark purple, light purple, weird, very strange form of light. You see a small bead form in her hand, and it begins to expand and form into this very long and elegant-looking rapier. And just forms out of nowhere.
Torgrim just kind of, inspects, because you mentioned it was elegant looking. kind of inspects it. It's like, nice weapon. See, you learned a new magic trick,
Mhm.
Good.
Would have been really helpful when the werewolves attacked.
Yeah, it would have been. Kind of thinks back to how he got bit twice.
But, when you make deals with certain individuals, power comes at a progression that is natural, and also when your patron decides that you are ready to learn that type of magic. Recently, my patron has decided that I am ready to learn at least this type of magic.
I'm glad. Sorry, I'm not one for patrons in magic, as you probably can tell. But I'm glad.
I mean, I assume we can sum this up of, like, Torgrim kind of giving her pointers on, like, how not to, have a loose grip on a weapon or so, like, things of that sort.
Yeah, a lot of it is because you Narcissus are used to dealing with weapons that are very light and only requiring of one hand. A lot of the lessons that Torgrim is giving you, that you need to be very adamant and very not so much forceful, but very aware of where the placement of your second hand is, because that's going to kind of be able to help you either make broader strikes or be more precise with a very, like, sharp stab. Essentially trying to give you different pointers on hand placements as well as motions that work well with placements.
A lot of hand touching.
Also watching Narcissa pick up a 6-pound weapon.
Listen. Okay.
It's like, all I can see is, like, her picking up the greatsword, like, oh, this is a bit heavy, and he just goes over to his great axe, which is like 7 pounds, just picks it up effortlessly.
And I imagine also it's the getting of the book of Dwarvish language. It's like, okay, that's probably fairly easy to find. If you want, I will roll investigation for it.
It's one of the easier. It's probably one of the easiest things to find. You just kind of go to a form of either a library or bookstore to look for a common to whatever language you're looking for dictionary. Obviously, it's kind of like the tourist version of the trying to find the right word that isn't bathroom type thing, but through it you can learn, like, different words, how to use them in sentences, but it's more so trying to learn how to practice them properly in conversation.
Yeah, so for the second day, I imagine the afternoon is spent with Narcissa and Torgrim trying to, like Torgrim teaching Narcissa, this is, what you do say in Dwarvish. These are the curse words you don't say.
This is the list of things you can say in front of your mother. It is not very long.
Yeah.
Should we roll intelligence check for those?
Yes. I will need you both to roll intelligence. Torgrim and Narcissa, I both need you to. I need you both to roll intelligence checks, please.
Okay. 11.
15.
Okay, so you both passed the first one. The exchanges are going pretty well. In terms of Narcissa, you're kind of having a little bit of trouble pronouncing different words, especially when trying to when you're forming sentences, go from one word to the next when they're starting with the same, like, syllable. You're having trouble kind of, like, breaking them apart, but through a little bit of effort, you managed to do so.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Alright. And since we are currently with Torgrim.
Yeah.
Your stuff. Let's see here. You wanted to learn stone forging.
Yeah, because, see me first thing in the morning. Is he alive?
Yes. He's currently missing an arm, but yes. He's got something that looks like it's trying to grow back, which is kind of weird.
Oh.
But he's alive. He's got some scratches.
Yeah, I remember him mentioning it's gonna take a couple days, so I feel like it's gonna be a couple hours sessions every day of learning.
It's about 6 or so hours a day.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Because this is a full new type of forging, smithing you're learning. And this is not like a crash course, from what I understand. You're wanting to learn. Yeah, so this is like a good 6 hours every day. Like, on time, crack of dawn, every day, 6 hours from like 6 a.m. to noon. This is what you're doing.
Also, I'd be willing to like help him out with like, you know, other forging things that need to be made as like, you know, kind of like, hey, thank you for doing this. Let me help you.
Yeah, he actually is like, so listen, I'm not going to charge you for this. If you help me, considering points to the stump, I kind of can't hold anything when I'm forging now. So that's a problem as of right now. My arm's going to grow back, but it's not here yet, and I have work that I still need to do.
So yeah, Torgrim will happily help out.
Okay. You're getting...
He is happy when he forges.
You're getting a lot of requests for silvered weapons now.
Alright.
Which you do know how to do, and it's very, very time-consuming, because there's a lot of silver you're running through.
Oh
boy. You silver about 13 greatswords, 5,000 crossbow bolts of varying sizes. Those look to be a bulk order for guards. And then you silver a glaive that is fairly large. In terms of like length, think 2.5 of you standing on each other. It's kind of hard to like have. You ever hold like a really, really big rod, like pole or something, and it's like, this is very heavy, and it's also very tall, so I'm not able to hold onto this properly. It's kind of like that. It takes a bit. Let's see here, and I will need you to make me.
Let's see. I'm gonna have to roll something on there.
Yeah, I'll have you roll 3 intelligence checks. So first one is for the first day.
What about my smithing tools?
I would say yes, you can use those.
Okay,
So
I will use my smithing tools then.
Yeah. So essentially just roll a check with
5! I'm terrible!
You break a lot of... Okay.
And 20.
Okay, so the first day, it's rough. You're not... After the whole debacle with the werewolves, it's like you're very tired, you're very drained. It seems like he's also very tired and drained.
I also gotta reboot my memory. How do I work with silver again? Kind of learning, relearning a bit as he goes along.
So with this help, you're able to kind of you're barely able to get the basics on day one. You break a lot of the stone. Essentially, how the stone forging is essentially working is, what you end up doing is you take the slab of stone you're looking to make a weapon out of. So say you're wanting to make a stone out of like granite or something like that. The sword or weapon out of like granite. He's talking basic daggers at this point. So essentially, you kind of make the layout of what you're wanting to shape out of this. Then you begin the process of having to chisel it down. And as you begin to chisel it down, he's talking about being very, very careful not to strike too hard when you're trying to remove it from its inset to get the piece out.
I'm a very strong man.
You end up breaking about 5 or 6 practice ones before being able to fully remove one without breaking it. And as you remove it from the inset of the stone, you do notice it's actually fairly... It would... If you were to put, like this against a wall and like a steel dagger next to it, and just shine a light on them, it would be kind of hard to tell the difference from a distance away. Day 2 is all about refining the weapon down. So that's about smoothing it down to the point where you can adequately kind of almost sort of like whittle away with it with a very certain tool. The name currently is escaping him for some reason. He has had a few dings on the head, but essentially what you do is you take the item and you take the dagger that you have, and you kind of run it almost like a whetstone, but you run it down the blade, and it begins to kind of just shave down the stone, and kind of gets it to a very, very fine texture. And then the more you do that on each side, the more it is being whittled down to a point. Kind of like how you make a candy cane into a stabbing implement. Think like that.
Homicide.
Yeah. So that day 2 is all about kind of smoothing and refining it down to the portion of, okay, now you could potentially kill this. Day 3...
And hopefully I don't break anything.
You don't, thankfully. Day 3 occurs, and you take the piece you have, and you are... he's kind of showing you how he gives them, like, the leather-wrapped handles, kind of trying to reinforce it and temper it a little bit. So say you want to work out or buff out an imperfection, he shows you how to do that. It takes quite a bit of time, but you're getting it. And at the end of it, you have a stone dagger.
Is it mine?
It is yours.
Yay! I made a thing for myself. I'm so proud of myself. Alright, sweet.
So the stats for the stone dagger are a 1d4 plus 1. Essentially, what this is it's not a magic weapon, obviously, but what you can choose, if you so choose to, you can say you want to track something, but it is currently attempting to kill you. You can take this item and stab it into them, and then if you apply enough force, which is a strength check, you break off the piece inside their body. So it's going to keep them alive, but it's going to make, every time they move, it's going to make them bleed, so that way you could potentially track them.
Alright.
Think of it as a very, very horrifying...
So make a blood trail with it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Think Dora the Explorer, but like Friday the 13th creepy.
So what you're telling me is I can stab them, break the blade, leave it in there, and just like, I'll track you down later.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's kinda terrifying, but you know, it works. Alrighty. And then the next thing while you are doing this, the next thing on your list is to explore the city, as well as spend some time with Narcissa, and potentially locate your guild. Easily enough, you'll find a guild. What are you essentially looking for in the city?
I don't know. I'm just kind of looking around because I feel like I might visit again.
Okay.
Looking at, again, places to eat, because Narcissa. Oh, I'm gonna take you out. Let's go eat at some good places, you know?
Okay. You get the names of a couple different places for, places to eat. Let's see here. Sorry, notebook.
That's cool.
Okay. One place that you are told it's a pretty decent place, kind of expensive but pretty decent, is called the Nobleman's Retreat.
Alright. Oh. Okay.
And then the other place that you are told, think about, whereas this one is like that fancy schmancy place that downtown that people like to go to for like Valentine's Day and stuff like that. This other place is a little hole in the wall. It's like the hole in the wall place you would learn of. Let's see. This one
that you only learn of if like you're local.
Yeah, this is like the local place of, this is a very nice little hole in the wall, kind of really nice food, but very not like everyone's always trying to cram themselves in here. This one. Sorry, gotta keep flipping in the notebook. There it is. This one is known as the quote-unquote the Smuggler's Den. This one specializes in very strange and intricate foods that, as the name would have suggested prior, you would have more than likely needed a smuggler at some point to bring these certain things in.
Alright, sounds nice. Narcissa will probably like it there.
I don't know if that's supposed to be a compliment.
Oh yeah,
or...
I forgot to type it out, but I also wanted to like visit a cleric to like double check, make sure like I'm not gonna be a werewolf, right?
You at the mention of, hey, I got bit by a werewolf, you immediately quarantined.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
It's not like okay, everyone put your hazmat suits on. It's like, okay, you need to go to this room specifically, so we're going to check you over like 12 times.
I mean, that's fine.
They ask you to point out any like puncture wounds anywhere that the werewolf might have bitten or like clawed into you, where he would have drawn blood, so on and so forth. They ask you questions like, did he spit on you or something, things to that effect. Essentially try and gauge whether or not what the chances of you actually contracting the lycanthropy were. Turns out you did have a trace of it. Thankfully, they catch it before anything else happens, and they just tell you that, hey, you're probably going to feel really crappy these next couple of days, so be careful.
Alright.
So, good thing you went to that cleric.
I'm smart.
Smart
I don't take chances.
Alright. And then, if memory serves me correct, you were also not only wanting to learn where your guild was, but also to acquire a charm necklace, or symbol to Del.
Yeah. Because he venerates her. Best goddess.
You do find one, easily enough. You would have been able to actually pick one up at a clergy, so you would have been able to go to the temple that venerates Del. You go in, they give you one. It doesn't really cost anything, considering this is a religious space. And the symbol is of a hammer, a large forge hammer, with beams of fire, 3 pillars of fire coming out of it. One from the middle on top, and then one from each of the sides coming outward. Almost making like a trident looking like to it.
Alright, sweet. That's all I wanted.
Alrighty. Let's see. And then you would have figured out where the guild hall was for your if you wanted
help out
to.
Help out.
They actually would have been asking you to help smith help silver weapons as well.
You know what? He's not gonna complain, alright? Practice makes better, and he's always looking to improve.
Alrighty.
But he's also gotta spare some time to, like, you know, go eat, drink, relax, and spend time with his lady friend.
Alrighty. So, did you two want to do that portion of it right now?
Yeah, because Narcissa didn't want to mention what her patron told her to Torgrim. So, are we going to the smuggler's den or the nobleman's retreat?
I think he's gonna take her to the nobleman's retreat first.
Okay. Oh. Google.
What?
Google, what did you do? Google, please no. Oh God. I'm sorry. Google shot me literally out of everything. It closed my entire window. Ah. Sweating increases. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. For the date, Narcissa would look fine.
Yes,
and probably disguise her. She'd probably also disguise herself to look humanoid.
How much money are you spending on these garments?
Well, no, I'm using disguise self.
Ah, yes, that's right. You can do that.
I have a hat.
She has a hat that can do that.
Yeah.
He's gonna make sure, you know, he's nice and clean. He took a nice bath. Dressed normally, I guess. Because, I mean, it's a decent place. From what you told me, it's not, like, aristocratic or anything.
Do they have a dress code?
They, quote-unquote, have a dress code. It's essentially the, think about the equivalent of nicer, like, not, like, super nice, like, a decent-looking shirt and slacks.
So it's not black tie, but it's not like McDonald's.
Yeah, it's not McDonald's. But it's not black tie. It's one of those nicer places
like
that you would
come in a
go,
nice button down.
Yeah, think about it like this. Think about what you would want to wear if you went out to like a holiday dinner with family.
Cool.
Kind of like that.
I was saying, this reminds me of Olive Garden.
No, it's nicer than Olive Garden.
Nicer than Olive. Okay.
Narcissa's gonna look like an elven female, the same sort of elven female that she did when she came into the city.
Okay.
I'm just gonna look his best, you know.
Yeah.
He's gotta look nice for his lady friend.
He's
paying. No arguing.
You know, once we kind of settle down and kind of, you know, we're getting into like food, like dinner and all, or lunch, whenever we're going. Narcissa is going to kind of like go through a little bit. There is something I wanted to talk to you about that's a little disconcerting to me. And I didn't want to bring it up before, you know, bed, and, you know, but you'd be up half the night. But I've gotten word from my friend upstairs, that she kind of like leans in a little bit, that this place isn't safe anymore, that we shouldn't stay here too long, and that there's things that are rising up that shouldn't be, that are abhorrent to my patron, and that need to be eliminated. I have a feeling that's where our other tiefling friend was headed, to those rooms. It's just, if there's something going on, I think that we should at least investigate it and, you know, take care of it if we can. Bring word to those who might be able to if we can't.
Torgrim nods in understanding and seeks, like, kind of, puts his hand on top of hers, kind of reassuring her. Whatever it is, we'll take care of it. We will be just fine. Trust me. Smiles.
I do trust you. Thank you for this.
Is that all you wanted to tell me?
When I went to go see the ends and get your armor, with apparently the way we've been acting, a lot of people think that we're dating.
At the mention of dating, Torgrim flusters a bit. Oh, I just like to be a good friend.
I know, it's just silly, right?
A little bit, I guess.
But it's nice to spend time with you.
It's nice to spend time with you too. Even though I prefer you look like your normal self other than what you've got now.
There are some people who look down on me just because I'm what I am, and then if people found out what I truly am, I just kind of like squeezes his hand lightly. It's a comfort for me, okay?
I'm just, nods in understanding. I get it. It's alright. I'm not forcing us to do anything. If you're comfortable, so be it.
Just before we do leave the town, I need to talk, at least with our dragon friend. He has information that I need, and I think we can do a nice exchange.
Alright. I can escort you there if you like, or you can go on your own. I don't really mind.
I think I'd actually like it if you came inside with me.
Then, I'll walk with you.
Thank you. And she'll reach over and kind of pat his cheek lightly.
So, I'm gonna spare you guys the script.
Okay. I know it's getting really long.
I know, I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry, you got lovebirds steal the spotlight.
I'm sorry.
Andy,
Sorry,
don't be sorry. Armored and I do this to y'all on Thursday with Zerali and Thav.
Yep.
But at least we're knocking both Narcissus and Torgrim out of the way too.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I had you guys both at the same time, because now you've done all of the stuffs. Now you've done all of the stuffs.
Except we're a tag team. If you start with one, you're gonna interlace with the other, and then do the other stuff.
Alrighty. So, the next person we have up is Miki.
Hi.
Alrighty. So, in terms of, we'll do the quicker ones. In terms of helping out with the what was going on in the city, every time you would kind of ask a guard or an official, it was essentially if you would be willing to help kind of like walk the wall to make sure, like, when there are people, because there are some farms that are sitting on the outskirts of this city, because there's not enough space on the inside to keep the livestock, keep all the food storage, and so on and so forth. Because from what they just gathered, you have a keener eye than some people. If you're able to just walk the walls and kind of keep an eye on the outlying forest and go to a specific horn that they have every 200 feet in order to signal, hey, something bad's happening. If you see anything, to rush over to one of those. Thankfully, you do not see anything.
All right.
There are actually designated spots for you to, on the wall, for you to practice your martial and meditative works. So you can spend time doing that if you wish.
After the events of the attack, she needs to get back into that stillness of mind mentality. So, yeah, she's definitely doing her meditative exercises. And just practicing in general.
Alrighty. And those noodles, actually, are still available. That, considering that's the place you guys have been staying, you would actually be able to go and acquire some of these noodles. Actually, really good.
It's basically Miki sees why our princely friend adores these things.
So, upon receiving what size bowl do you get? Is the first question I have.
Because she's little, she's gonna get a small.
A very small one. Okay. So, it's inside the bowl with the noodles. There's a very light, almost very light, kind of like, you want to say some form of like beef or pork broth. Very light taste to it. There are a few very well cleaned and well cooked cut pieces of bacon, 3 of which that are kind of sitting on the side and kind of sitting in the broth on top of the noodles. There are a few bean sprouts that they have put in there to kind of add a little bit more to keep you filled. And the noodles are they are like silk running down your throat. They are delicious. Right. And then you have your discussion.
Ah, yes, time to go talk with Toril.
Alrighty. So, you head to the bank, and there is a very large uptick in what is going on. You see you see actually quite a few patrols of guards kind of walking around the city now that this has occurred, and they're kind of keeping interest in places like this. Those, the Silent Sentinels, not there this time, thankfully, because they're kind of creepy. And you are escorted in, and upon upon informing one of his workers that you're here to see him, they lead you back to his door, and they leave you to the room. You are on the outside, but the door is still closed.
Alrighty, for the time being, Miki's just going to wait until she is called to come in. Because she don't know if he's got like an important meeting or anything going on.
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. Perception. That's a 12.
You kind of hear the faintest. You hear snoring.
She will knock on the door then.
Yeah. Come in.
Miki will enter the room just like, hi, it's me. I was supposed to meet with you today.
Ah, yes. Yes, come in. I believe I owe you a story. He looks very tired. He's in his human form that he had shrunken down to when you first met him. But it looks like he has not gotten a lot of sleep.
Oh, I know that feel.
Can I offer you something to drink?
Just tea is fine.
Oh, very well. And he begins to prepare the tea. So, let's see here. That's right, I owe you a story.
And she's going to sit wherever she's told to sit, and she has out her special girly quill that she got when she got to go do shopping for the first time, and the book that Mr. Tiefling Man gave her to write everything down in.
I'm just imagining this tiny bird in a chair with this giant plumed quill next to her, like floating above her head now.
Pretty much, yes. That's how I picture it.
Alrighty. So, considering the work you did for me, as well as what I've done, I think you've earned an interesting story.
Thank you.
Tell me, do you know how dragons came into existing into this world? How we came about?
Okay, I actually don't know if she would know this.
She would not.
Okay. No, I don't. I know that they exist, and I'm happy I got to meet one.
It's not a story that people know. Unfortunately, it's been a bit lost. Kind of looks off into the distance. Tell me, young one, how old do you think I am?
Based on how you look, maybe 30?
Desi kind of... Oh, no. I'm... How would you say? A bit older than that. I think I'm coming up on 31,000. Give or take a couple of centuries or two. It's hard to keep track.
You
Kind of
must
looks...
know a lot of stories being that old.
Oh, I do. I know the very first tales of dragons and their exploits. But I think we can save some of those for later.
Okay.
The story you get to learn today is known as the hatching. And almost as if he was kind of like... Almost as if he kind of expects like he has to do this. The lights in this room begin to kind of dim down a bit to the point where it's just like a very soft light. In the beginning, there were but 5 eggs. Our Creator wanted to spread his powers and influence through the use of his blood and emotions in order to solidify his mark on this world. Into one egg, he poured his kindness and goodwill toward all. This egg would house the first of the metallic dragons. Into another, poured his power and capabilities of magic. This is how the long dragons to the east came to be. And you actually would know of the eastern dragons. They are said to be quite powerful, even rivaling that of many metallics. To one egg, he bestowed his greed and his predatory nature, and that is how my kind began. To the next egg, he gave his aloofness and his need for a solitary life. This is how the gem dragons came about. And now there was only one more could give to imbue strength to the last egg. And many of us agree it was a foolish attempt to do this. To the last egg he gave his darker thoughts, his
One would call them almost internal demons. And that is how the planar dragons came into existence. And his eyes kind of twitch at that statement. From each of these eggs, a child was born, thrown to the world and left to fend for themselves. The only gift our so-called father gave us was that of a name. The first one he bore was Volzarin Gleaming, lord to the metallic dragons. Then there was Zintor the Graceful, emperor to the eastern dragons and serpents. Gilatrax the Volcanic, ruler to the dragons of gemstones and earth. Zarvanos the Eternal, lord and ruler of the planar drakes and wormlings. And then finally, Thantanos the Vile, father to the chromatics. And as he kind of rattles these names off, his kind of gaze get a bit more distant with every one he says, almost as if each rattling off each of their names begins to kind of pull him away as if he's seeing something else. Each of these great dragons and beasts went forth and created their own children, each of which hoping to outshine the others, and one day maybe to rule over the other dominions. And until our Creator returns, we are stuck here, left to lie in wait. Now each of those dragons and drakes created their own offspring, one of each said to be the father of their kind, of their, shall we say, specific breed. And you have the honor to be addressing one of those firstborn.
Miki nearly drops her quill and just looks up from where she's writing.
Oh, don't worry, little one. Nothing bad's going to come of you knowing this information. Otherwise, I wouldn't be giving it to you. I don't think I properly introduced myself to you, friends. My name is Torl, bringer of flame.
She immediately goes back to writing.
Firstborn of Thanatos the Vile. And he kind of, as he says that statement, the firstborn of Thanatos the Vile, he kind of, his teeth kind of get, he kind of bares his teeth. You can tell that they're no longer disguised as human. They're very dragon and drake, like very sharp. Not like if he's trying to be threatening, but just like uttering that is bringing out the dragon.
Right.
Anywho, I hope that was a story worth waiting for.
Absolutely.
So, is there anything else you were hoping to learn?
Not right now. sound rude, but you sound and look like you need to catch up on some sleep.
Yes, I had to get cured from lycanthropy. Not a very fun thing. I got bit quite a bit. I got bit a lot that night.
Yeah, that probably isn't very fun.
Could you imagine? A dragon roaming around in the light like a feral dog. That would be horrifying. Fun, but horrifying.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Thank you for sharing the story with me. She's kind of like gone into awkward, flustered mode. Poor thing.
Thank you for completing your job. Thank you for doing what you've done in this city so far. I expect I'll be seeing you in the near future.
That's a possibility. Thank you again. And she will bow and gather her things up and take her leave.
Alrighty. Alright, everyone can unmute themselves now. I noticed that everyone has been eerily quiet.
I mean, it's just...
It's also... It was Sneaky's turn. They were needed for Torgrim with Narcissa.
So, I hope everyone enjoyed that bit of information.
Fun.
Yeah, first red dragon in existence.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually have to look back on the VOD because my internet started fucking up on me. So you guys were roboting for a very large portion of it.
Oh, goody.
There wasn't any roboting on my end, so at least the VOD will still sound good. So yeah, you'll be able to catch the information.
It was my end. You guys were roboting for me.
It should be Annabelle's turn next, right?
Correct.
I mean, Annabelle's just gonna go dig in the forest for some roots.
Yes, quite a bit of your time is spent digging. However, fruits of your labor, very, very nice. Give me 1 second. I need to double check and consult the chart one last time. Okay, so you find 32 yellow toadstools in your 3 days of doing this.
I'm glad I got that bag of holding.
Yeah, it's going to be very helpful, trust me. You find 23 pieces of golden root. You find about 8 potions worth of Blightbone, or Blightbone elixir. So you can add in 8 potions of Blightbone elixir. And now for the new stuff, which I will have you roll 3 checks for that, please. 1 for each day.
Alright, just standard survival checks?
You can go ahead and use your alchemist stuff for this, if you would like.
Alright, then I'll use my alchemy supplies. Give me 1 second, I have to adjust my headphones.
Alrighty. And then, are you going to...
Am I going to what?
Sorry. Are you going to be using your special item? You do this?
Well, I had to use it to find the golden root and yellow toadstool.
Ah, yes, this is true.
And don't worry, I already marked it off.
Alrighty.
So coming into this third day, are we coming back on the fourth day or the third day?
You'll be coming back on day 3. You'll be coming back on the third day.
Okay.
This is just going to be for the preliminary stuff that you would have done throughout that third day.
All right then. Then I'm going to make some rolls. Oh, if only I had advantage.
Oof. Okay.
Still some solid rolls, though.
Very solid, my goodness.
I'm quite good with my alchemist supplies.
That 10, that initial 10 gets you a 17. I wonder...
Yeah, if I were just to rely on my passive skill with alchemist supplies, it would be 17.
Jesus. Okay,
so... Would you mind reading out your rolls for the people who are
yes.
actually looking at the screen, please?
My first roll was a 20. If I had had advantage, it would have been a natural 20, but it's just a soft 20, no big deal. My second roll was a 17, and my third roll was a 21.
Thank you.
Also, Small, I'm going to turn you up on my end, because for me, at least, you're kind of quiet.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll speak up a little more.
No, if you're good on the stream, don't worry about speaking up. It's just because I had previously turned you down because of my headphones being weird sometimes.
Well, that's fair.
It might not hurt for her to speak up a little bit because she is kind of quiet on my end, and I have her volume all the way up on my end.
Alright then. Oh. I don't know if I could do this at the tavern we're staying in, which for some reason the name is evading me.
Empty Trough.
Oh yeah, at the Empty Trough, but I'd like to start the brewing on a couple of healing potions, if that's a thing I can do there.
Yep, you would be able to do that.
Yeah, because I've got the Wolfsbane.
So, sorry, I don't know why I thought I had this, but apparently I didn't.
I hate to distract while you're looking that up, but just a weird question.
Yes?
Given what's happened with Annabelle and the particular item she happens to be using, does the Wolfsbane seem to make her feel weird when she's holding it?
You feel a little queasy.
I'll keep that in mind.
The more you hold it, the more queasy you get. So, like, if it's a very initial, I'm putting things together, it's not going to be that bad, but if you were just hold that, you feel like it's very like a vertigo sensation.
Oh, it's like holding a pile of something or other.
Very much so. Okay, there it is. So... Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, I'm adding on to Wolfsbane, other than the main component of healing potions, odd effect with wolves, which I'll look into what that actually is later.
Alrighty. So, while you are searching throughout the forest, let's see here. I'm just gonna rattle off what you got here right off the bat. You managed to find the remains of a shambling mound. Find the lower half of it. You have You find 3 sets of pixie wings, no pixies attached to them, which is a little strange.
Someone was being cruel. Actually, no, pixies are little first, they deserve it.
Excuse you.
I mean, in D&D they are.
I know, I'm just being a shit.
And you find... I would actually ask you to roll an intelligence check for me to try and determine what this is, so whether or not you know how to utilize it right off. Or to even, like, know what this thing, quote-unquote, is.
Just straight intelligence?
Yes, please.
Alright. 17.
Okay, you find the corpse of a Magman.
Those little exploding dudes?
Yes, and it is intact. And it has not gone off.
That's incredibly unusual and terrifying. Can I even transport that?
I would say with that 21, yes. You find a way to quickly and carefully transport it. And I would say you would be able to easily enough identify where the magical menagerie is.
Alright, bag of bounty. I'm gonna need all the oats. I need packing material. Oats is probably the only thing the bag of bounty actually uses create food and water for.
That would probably be it, yes. The only proper time. The only proper time that spell would be brought in. So you were able to transport it back easily enough. They tell you that, yeah, this is very rare that they haven't... bringing it into the city gates, fun fact, that's actually kind of like... The guards would like look at you, look down at it, look over to you, look down at it like, is it gonna blow up? Is it gonna blow up? Is it gonna blow up? It's not blowing up.
I have secured this in a way it will not blow up, but I am quite literally bringing a live explosive into the city. I am heading straight to the Magical Menagerie branch. If one of y'all would like to escort me, that is perfectly fine.
They have the giant construct just kind of like pick you up.
This is very unnecessary.
Pick you up in one hand and pick it up in the other, and just starts walking into the town with it. And you. Just as a precaution. So you receive 3 mag vials. And I'll have you write these down as I describe them to you. So what these are is... essentially, you have the ability to use the ignited illumination ability that they have. Each of these vials can do that. So essentially, you can produce light and then take away that said light. And you have 3 of these vials. And if you decide to throw them, you get their Death Burst ability, except the DC goes up. And that will be based on your dexterity modifier. For be the 11 plus whatever your dex modifier.
Alright then. Throwable use of their... What'd you say their death ability was called?
It's called Death Burst. Yeah. For those who don't know, each creature within 10 feet must make a DC 11, will be whatever Annabelle's, plus whatever Annabelle's dexterity modifier will be, dexterity saving throw. Taking 2d6 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. Flammable objects that aren't being worn or carried will ignite. So you could literally burn things down with this. Very much.
So, I have napalm.
Yeah, you have napalm. Congratulations. Fun stuff, guys.
And I have 3 of those?
Mm-hmm.
My inventory, it grows.
It's very good that you have a bag of holding now.
Oh, it was a priority, trust me.
I saw the list of the inventory like, I'm getting bags of holding. I was right.
Alright, so that would mean that the DC for that is DC 14.
Alrighty.
Alright. So, am I able to figure out what the remains of a shambling mound and pixie wings do while I'm there as well?
The pixie wings... The pixie wings, if you so choose, can be brewed to cause hallucinations. If you put some, quite literally, pixie dust into a drink and something consumes it, they must make a DC
of 13, or else they start having hallucinations. And I have a chart of stuff that they could see. Looks down at my D100s. Oh boy. The Shambling Mound can be used as an so essentially the Shambling Mound is going to be you keep that inside of a glass, essentially a potion vial. When thrown at an area, it essentially causes spike growth. You essentially have a usable spike growth.
That is a nasty spell, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. You have 5 of those.
Oh my goodness. Being an alchemist is fun.
I'm just imagining Aunt Belle just like standing in a tower and just like, oh look, there are people coming. Drop, 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 drop.
Just like, I don't have any oil. I've got fire, but I don't want to waste it. I'm gonna make your day horrible.
Oh.
I'm gonna call that a spike growth bomb in my character sheet. I'm gonna drag and drop the spell spike growth onto my spell so I can keep track of it.
Alrighty. So, I believe that is everyone's stuff. I know that Narcissa still wants to speak with Coral.
Mm-hmm.
However, considering that is not one of pre-scheduled things, that does get pushed back to day 3. Just double check if anyone else has business with him on day 3, or that can be noted on day 3.
Narcissa did ask Torgrim to come with her.
Okay.
Like, inside. Just because she feels more comfortable with him at the moment.
Emotional support dwarf.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, there is one more thing I had to ask about.
Yes.
Since it was done to Narcissa, I understand that bringing in the Magman corpse was probably a distraction on the one day, but how are the guards reacting to the things Annabelle has on her person?
Considering you have a form of identification through the magical menagerie, they're a little bit more lenient with you because they know what the magical menagerie does and what people who work inside of the magical menagerie do. They still look at all of your stuff and they ask you what these are, for, so on and so forth. But then when they see magical menagerie, they go, okay, seems on the up and up. If not, we can always ask them and see.
Alright then. I was just curious because I know you specifically said that when they search Narcissa, they seem to be looking for something. I get the feeling I might know what that something is.
Yeah. That doesn't go off. It doesn't trigger anything. It just looks like a pebble at this point. It just looks like a pebble to them. However, to you, it looks very different.
Wait, it actually does physically look different?
Yeah, when they pull it out, it's just a rock.
Belle's gonna make a mental note of that.
And when they scan it with those fun little stones they had prior, no ding.
Well, that doesn't surprise her too much. She would know from her attuning process that it doesn't do anything unless you're attuned to it.
Yeah. So, those little bits of information are now.
Alright, sorry about that. I was just curious.
No, it's all good. However, I think right now would be a good time for a break.
Yes, please.
I'm not ready for what
My dog is whining that I knew my turn was coming up.
Go let the pooper go pooper.
Alrighty. We're gonna take a break here then.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh.
Alrighty. I will be back.
Yeah, we'll be back in like 5 to 10, everybody. So, yeah.
Hello? Okay, I can hear people now.
Hello, Andy, my emotional support tiefling.
Sorry, my Discord goofed out at the moment.
No one's here.
It's okay.
Okay. Yay. I'm here.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait for this. Everyone still here?
Yep. I'm just programming stuff into my character sheet.
I imagine that you had to go look for something.
Probably. Magman. I'm gonna need to ask when he gets back if the ignited illumination is a one-use thing or if I can just use that by holding the thing. Also occurs to me that I also have 2 giant glowing crystals. That I stole off of the wall of that science place.
Ooh, Torben would love to show Narcissa his stone dagger. It's like, look what I made. You know, all proud of himself.
Should be very proud.
He'd also be very proud of himself. I mean, Narcissa did, mention wanting to learn how to smith, and the imp did say, "Oh, your little dwarven friend over there,"
Well, she hasn't brought it up to Torgrim yet, so.
Yeah, I know, but you should.
It'll get brought up eventually.
Well, I can imagine. Well, Narcissa is learning Dwarvish from, the dictionary, and Torgrim is just like, I don't understand all this fancy language. Use these words. These are for the commons, when you have casual talk. Not all this fancy bullshit.
Annabelle walks up one night just like, y'all learn Dwarvish?
Yes.
That's cool.
Well,
oh, you actually learned it from a book. That's gonna take you a while.
I am also here.
That's fair.
Hello.
Start speaking in fluent Dwarvish to Torgrim.
Start speaking fluent Dwarvish back. Narcissa confused and lost.
We were waiting for you to get back.
Are we enjoying the session so far?
Yes,
far,
I cannot
yeah.
wait.
I like the fact that. Sorry.
You go.
I was just gonna say, I like the fact that everyone else is having the like super interesting character moments. Meanwhile, Annabelle's just digging in the dirt.
To be honest, you're finding a lot of use.
Yeah. During this break, can you tell me the statistics for how I can make potions, just so we can get it out of the way before we start doing
yes. So let me just double check.
Wait, we were taking a break?
Yes.
Yeah, go take a break.
Well, no, the thing is, like, my internet cut out at that moment. I'm like, oh, okay. My internet decided not to work. I'm like,
Oh. Andy, go take your break.
Yeah, go on break.
Just go.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. So, if you want, it's up to you whether or not you want to use alchemist supplies, whichever you want. In terms of that, what's essentially going to happen? I know that sometimes it takes quite a bit to make potions, but considering that is what you do, it takes you less time. So I think, if memory serves me correct, it should take like 8 hours to make a healing potion. I think.
Well, no, it's supposed to be at least 1 day's worth of downtime, but that's because they also have to sit and brew.
Yes. So I would say, if you are actively trying to make these, if you are actively trying to get this stuff ready, you can choose between your herbalism kit or alchemist supplies. I would have you roll it, and depending on what you roll, it's gonna affect how long it takes you to get it. So, like, if you roll anything like a 10 or lower, it'll take you about half a day's worth to just sit and kind of to itself.
Well, my alcoholism, that's not right. My alchemist supplies and my herbalism kit are the exact same score. Both are +7, so
it doesn't really matter which one.
22.
Okay, you
20
get it all.
If I for some reason had advantage.
You are able to do it, and it takes you like 3 hours. Because of, with your herbalism kit and your alchemist supplies, you have a few different like reagents to speed the process up quite a bit. Especially being so close to the magical menagerie, you are able to make it.
Imagine it's very easy to go get any extra reagents I might need.
Yeah, it's very easy.
In fact, I'm probably just, rather than brewing these in my, basically brewing potions, I probably just reserved a room in the guild hall for the magical menagerie of this city, and I'm just using it.
Yeah, they would say, hey, if you're looking to make potions, you can just do that here.
Yeah.
At the mention of, all right, I'm gonna go back to the inn and make the potions, they're like, you can just do that here, right?
I don't usually have access to actual guild halls.
Yeah. I remember that.
I'm kind of a field researcher.
Early 20s sucked.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it though. Well, honestly, it sucks, but that's the adventuring part. The being an alchemist is pretty fun.
Looks at the scars. Are you sure about that?
You can't see any of my scars. I'm fully clothed.
I thought, don't you have scars on your face? Doesn't Annabelle have scars on her face?
She always keeps on her face, yeah.
There was some roboting. I don't know if I'm gonna hop out of the call and.
What? The roboting is on my end.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh no.
My internet's just not stable right now. Now, Annabelle, like in her character art, she has like a bandage on her face, yeah.
I am kind of disturbed to know what we're gonna go be facing next if we go after what Narcissus' patron told her about. Because, it's like, oh, our friend, this tiefling, went off in this direction. I think it was east. To go explore some ruins.
It'll be fine.
And now there's, shit rising up.
Okay, I have 2 more questions, not how.
Yes.
So you said 3 hours. Was that 3 hours per potion?
Yes, 3 hours per potion that you were gonna make. Every time you're gonna want to make a batch, and you ask how long it's gonna take to make this batch, I'm just gonna have you roll your alchemist supplies, herbalism, whichever, because since they're both the same score, whichever one you want to do that day, and then depending on that roll is how quickly these batches come out.
And the resources required are, I believe you told me it was 2 golden root and 1 wolfsbane.
Yep, 2 golden root for every 1 wolfsbane. It's 1 potion.
All right. Assuming I'm not spending all day out in the forest digging for things, when I come back at night, I try to whip up at least 2 vials per day.
Okay, so that would be a total of 4, but technically for the last day of downtime, you'll have 6.
Alright, so 6, that would mean I'd take away 12 of my golden roots, bringing me down to 13. And 6 of my wolfsbane, which brings me down to 9.
I'm just looking at Annabelle's equipment sheet, and Jesus Christ.
I keep good notes.
All the way to the bottom.
It's extended my character sheet. What are you talking about?
I know! Just keeps going and going.
Yeah, before we leave the city, I might have Narcissa look into getting some thieves' tools.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh, and my second question was, you said that the Magman vial can also be used to produce the ignited illumination. Does that use the vial?
Oh, the using the vial is throwing it to make it explode, whereas you could just have, like, literally just...
Alright, shaking it, it lights up.
Yeah, think like that the thing Frodo has. You have 3 of those now. But not as bright. Because that's overly necessary.
I've got a bunch of stuff that glows.
Oh, robot.
That's a heavy robot.
Can't help it. I've got a small rock that makes a bonfire. I've got 2 large glowing crystals that I ripped out of a wall. And I've got now 3 vials, which are basically torches. And I don't even need it because I've got dark vision glasses.
I was like, yeah, you're getting all of this stuff after you no longer are affected by not being able to see.
To be fair, you still need light to be able to see color, and color is very important for what Annabelle does.
This is true.
I see this toadstool. It could either be yellow toadstool, or it could be black toadstool. One way cures me of poison, one way is incurable poison.
Taste it, taste it, taste it.
Just Uncle Iroh, just delicious tea or deadly poison. That's basically Annabelle. Is everyone back?
Think so. Is Small back?
Yeah, I've been here.
I don't think Small ever left.
I never leave.
She never leaves.
And then we have the Danny back.
Alright, we're good.
I exist, I promise.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's true. Fades into obscurity. Goodbye.
You don't exist on our plane of reality, Night Hunter.
I'm just a voice in the sky. A lot of you think you're crazy.
Or should I refer to you by your proper name of Newt Hunter?
Call me whatever you want.
Just don't call me in the morning.
Only one person gets to do that, and none of you are that person.
Ooh.
What was that?
Sound like a yawn.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. My dogs were doing a bork.
Ah, no, that's fine.
I'm ready for this.
Alrighty, so let's see here. So, who all was wanting to talk with the prince?
Hi.
I didn't know if anyone else was, considering this is day 3, and that everyone's...
Actually, Annabelle would like to.
Okay.
Because she wants to talk about rewards.
Okay. Anyone else?
No. Because, like, again, Torgrim doesn't know about the whole bodyguard thing because he was sleeping. He doesn't find a reason to, like, go talk to the prince.
I'm sure someone told him about that job.
Yeah, Precious probably would have.
If Mickey has time between where she's basically running the wall to keep an eye out for things, she would like to talk to Silverin, but it's not necessary for her to do so.
I would say if you're going to talk with him, if you were wanting to talk with him at any point, today would be the day to do it.
Right. So.
So are we gonna take the trip to the prince first, and then Narcissa and Torgrim will like veer off and go to the bank?
I guess. Annabelle's just heading to talk to the prince.
Yeah.
Actually, the bank is currently closed, and anyone who is attempting to find Toril would be directed to, actually, the palace, as there is a council meeting.
Makes sense.
Right. So.
Well, if the rest of the party's going to talk to the prince, and if Miki's not having to do her wall walk thing, she'll just go with.
Yeah,
so a whole party.
So why not?
Not split the
party trip. Let's go.
A day trip. Let's go.
Annabelle always splits the party.
Alright, so party proceeds to make their way towards the palace. As you progress further into the city, you notice the buildings start to get a little bit nicer, a little bit more refined. You're kind of what you would imagine, as with most cities, the further in you go, the nicer things are getting. You see places that are having gardens, a lot of hotels that seem to have well-dressed people on the outsides conversing about things. Annabelle, you would notice a few mage towers in very, not like close proximity, but evenly spaced apart, are making a ring around this palace. This is a fairly large palace, actually.
I mean, even having mage towers close together implies that there's some sort of arcane ley line thing going on, so she'd be making note of that.
The palace itself is a 15-story, large, almost estate-like building. There are multiple different areas that you can tell probably have some different form of use. The differences in windows kind of suggest that, whereas the first 3 floors have your normal-sized regular windows kind of facing on the outside. However, the further up you go, there are about 5-6 floors have picture windows, and then the further, the very top few floors, you begin to notice large panels of glass kind of layering themselves upward to form kind of a dome top, as well as 4 towers that kind of make themselves present, almost as if, let's see, think about the 4 corners of a large rectangle. Each tower has a spot on those corners. There are very few guards outside. However, these are autumn guards, and these ones look to be very well decorated. And as you begin to approach, they kind of move forward to greet you. Can we help you?
We are here to. We were directed here to speak with Toro, and I believe a few of us need to speak with Prince Silren on matters.
On matters involving the royal coronation.
Yes.
All right. Well, kind of looks you all over. And he kind of looks to the guard beside him. They kind of exchange a bit of a look at each other, their eyes kind of squint. We would ask that you relinquish any weapons before entering the premises. As you would imagine, we don't want any armed individuals making their way inside Alice at this point in time. Especially those of whom we have no idea who you are.
And Rustus will gladly give up her, 6 daggers.
They see you kind of pulling them out, and they're just like, all right then.
Boy.
She has the ones, on her jacket. She's like, all right, here you go, here you go. I imagine it's, the TSA, bucket situation, where it's just like, here you go, okay?
All electronics must go into this bucket.
She reaches into her boot, pulls out another dagger.
They think that's a lot. Oh boy, I'm sorry, racism, but
Please put any and all metallic objects into the subsequent bins, and please raise your arms over your head so we may pass the metal detector over you.
Puts down the crossbow and then all the bolts for it.
We need to get you a bag of holding so you can just put the whole thing down at once.
Toru, puts down his great axe, his halberd, his, great sword, 2 daggers, and his 1 stone dagger.
Why do you guys walk around the city carrying all of your weapons? Annabelle puts down her satchel and her 1 dagger, the only weapon she has on her when she's walking through the city.
Well, you see, my jacket is specifically made to carry all my weapons.
You I'm less concerned about. Torgrim is the one I'm concerned about. He's literally carrying around a giant axe and a giant sword.
While all this discussion is going on, Miki's putting her quarterstaff and her pouch of darts down in front of one of the guards.
Training! All you hear is strength training.
Do you need to check do the whole magic item checks?
No, we can see who has magical items on their person, and we ask that you do not bring them out.
Oh, I mean, I only have the hat.
Slowly turns towards Anna.
Hey, like I just said, she left her stuff back at the menagerie and in her hotel room.
I know, but they're just like, okay, you're lighting, and they're all over. They're all in this bag. Are you sure?
She left her bag of holding at
okay.
At a place. That's where all of her other stuff is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Do you have rules against familiars? Does she need to stay outside?
Looks to the bird.
Got all my junk in a lock. I got all my junk in a lockbox.
Well, we'll see once you try and walk through that door. We'll see what happens.
I will just look at Eloise and go, if they hurt you and you go back to seeing our friend, I am very sorry, darling. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do to you.
Alright, open the gate for them. And the large door opens up, and you are all let inside the palace.
Alright. Walk in.
The front area is actually a very well polished marble. It's almost like frighteningly reflective to the point where it's just kind of like, huh, didn't know that's what I looked like. Just kind of like, you can see some people like looking down for a moment, straightening up their hair and looking back up to see if anyone. But you are led inside, and you see a halfling man standing wearing a butler's outfit, and he kind of walks up to you. Hello there. What can I do for you?
Well, we're here to speak with Toro, the banker, and the prince.
Let's see. Pulls out a small notebook from his jacket pocket. Looks through. Let's see. Yes, Tor the Tyrant, as well as Prince, are currently in the meeting area. If you would follow me, closes the book and begins to lead you. This halfling is wearing essentially a full Alfred outfit with a monocle and a very tiny top hat. And is kind of walking in front of all of you. Inside, there are no guards. Just a large amount of doors in a very nice, as you begin to go up the stairs, very nice and well-furnished home. You currently... Everyone make perception checks, please.
Okay.
See what we all spot.
15.
14 off. I had advantage though.
Hold on, sorry. 10. I rolled a 5.
Let's see, so... Alright. Annabelle, you would notice that the further up you go, it seems actually that the more you're walking up these stairs, the more it seems like multiple floors are passing you by faster than you would expect. The further up you walk, the more it seems like, okay, we've skipped 4 or 5 floors now, and we've only been on these stairs for like 30.
Would she know what this is, or could she determine what this effect is by using Arcana?
That would be an Arcana.
16.
Okay. You know that, like in a lot of mage towers, the stairs, as well as the building themselves, generally have some form of enchantment point where the tower or the space that the stairs are currently occupied in will shrink and stretch to the determined and necessary amount of space to get to the destination that you are supposed to be going to. A lot of the times, you would think that probably the person, this little halfling, that is leading you, is kind of the source of, okay, I know where they need to go, I'm taking.
Yeah, so it's basically a case where it's like, we need to go up to the 7th floor, but I don't want to walk up 7 floors stairs, so let's only go up 1 floor stairs, and we're already there.
Yeah, kind of like that. But even with that, it's still taking a bit. Right, next we would have, let's see, Miki as well as Torgrim. You two would notice this. As you're kind of walking up, instinctively you kind of look around and you see what appear to be a bunch of griffins.
Griffins?
There's about 48 griffins that are like in their kind of roosting spots close to the ceiling. Near those large glass panels.
That's a lot.
Narcissa, your thoughts are like, this guy would have made a really good mark to just, like, grab a few things from?
Yeah.
Would have. Probably not now, and probably not with the security. But, you know.
She's not going to say a number of times that she cannot disclose at the moment because it's too large for her to remember.
But even so, you're thinking, you know, this would have gotten me a pretty penny.
I could have lived the high life if, they weren't this careful.
It's
God's,
like, you know,
God's
just
imagine.
Take some silverware, just gonna take this painting, this really, really nice, shiny, bejeweled egg for no reason. Can.
And getting her a bag of holding is just, oh god.
And then finally, you come to the top of the stairs for the floor you were supposed to be on. And then he hangs a right and leads you into what looks to be a very, not so much dark, but a very, very deep maroon hallway. The floor is carpeted up here, and there look to be, like, for some reason, velvet-like walls as you progress further down the hallway. Just keep passing door after door, and the halfling speaks up. The Lord is currently in the process of speaking with his council members, so we will let you into the room, just do not interject until spoken to.
Alright.
Annabelle just nods.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Mickey nods and just kind of...
Totem nods as well.
Narcissus is still kind of staring at some stuff.
Alright. And upon reaching the 7th door on the right-hand side, he stops and turns around on the balls of his feet to face all of you, to kind of symbolize as we're here. And then he opens the door, and you see a very large table with the prince sitting at the head, with one person actually fairly close to him. And then you have, as you come into the room, there's the head of the table that is directly across from you, which is where the prince is sitting. A very familiar looking gnome man is also sitting there, as well as a very familiar looking Goliath is sitting.
Narcissus recognizes that one.
Yes, you do recognize him. Is currently sitting in the chamber as well, along with Torl, as well as 4 others, of which you have no idea. However, one thing immediately catches your eye, and Annabelle, you would know what this is. Toward your end, the end you came in a chair, is a very yellow man that looks to be made out of crystal. Annabelle, you would recognize this as a shard mine.
Alright, Annabelle recognized it, but for a change, I actually don't know what that is.
Okay. So, for those who do not know, shard mines are essentially people made of crystals.
They are. In this world, do they speak through telepathy?
They do. I will actually quickly load you so that way you may see.
Sorry, I've seen shard mines before, so I'm like, oh, I know this.
I've seen a lot of things before, but I haven't played all of the D&D.
Okay, so... yeah. That's not what I wanted. Sorry. Changes, and I'm just going to show that. So, that fellow who is currently handing a nice big old player to whoop ass to that illithid is what a shard mine is.
That's how Jeff lost his leg.
This is who killed Jeff, guys. This is who mutilated Jeff. That is what a shard mine looks like. However, this one is yellow.
Gotcha.
And it kind of looks over to you, all of you. I tilts its head. And then turns back to everyone else. And then you all hear in your head, I think we have visitors. The Charmine turns back to you, and everyone else looks over to you. And the Charmine kind of looks at all of you.
Miki in particular. Well, hello, all of you. What can we do?
Miki in particular.
Yes, Miki in particular.
Kind of look at Narcissus is gonna look at everyone like since we talked.
Yes, we are coming here to speak to the prince when we are given a chance for an audience, but we do not wish to interrupt your private affairs, but we were let in.
Mm-hmm.
Annabelle speaking with a very formal tone.
The Charmine turns over to the prince. Actually, it would be a good idea to get their opinion on this matter that you wanted to bring up to all of us. What do you say? Perhaps we give them a try.
Narcissus is reaching out for Torgrim's hand.
Torgrim happily hands his hand to her and holds it.
You see Toril kind of lean back in his chair and begins to kind of like tap his fingers together. He's in his human form, and he's just kind of like looking at all four of you. The prince is sitting there. He looks very tired. He's probably gone at least a couple days without sleep.
It's a nice bowl of noodles.
Very well. You have made your point. So, you four.
Hi.
Given the recent attack on the city, I have asked that we divert money that would have been spent frivolously on the coronation. He says, looking over to a few people. Filbert is among one of these people. Money that would be spent frivolously to celebrate my coming of ruling. To pay for not only just strict damages to wall, but as well as city property, including the buildings and businesses that reside here, as well as reparations to those who have lost a loved one or something, specifically our guards. However, the council is a bit divided on that. And you see a total of, other than the prince, 8 other people. You see Goliath, you see Filbert, Toril, 3 people you have no idea who these individuals are, and then the Shardmine, whose name you would put together is Naram. I will spell that out for you in the chat. So,
I was gonna start speaking. So Narcissus is gonna kind of have her hands behind her back, kind of almost forcing herself to stand straight position, and clear her throat and go, well, given the recent attacks and the destruction and havoc it has wrought upon these people, it is best that money that is available that can be diverted should be. It will show people that you are willing to help them, that you're not going to sit in an ivory tower and worry about parties and other such things. When you are a man of the people, as a good ruler should be. And it'd be wise to assist those who need it.
One of the members at the table speaks up. However, it is also nice that the people have, shall we say, distractions from the horrors that have recently occurred here. Things like festivals and the like, you not only bring in coin that is useful, but also to help people get their minds off of things, which is what the money we were discussing, most of which would have been diverted to.
Well, yes, that is true. There's the fact that even if you distract them for a little while, they still have to return home, to the crushing fact that they might not even have a home, or they may have lost a loved one in that fight. Rebuilding a foundation is much more than just distraction. If you are able to rebuild businesses and rebuild lives, they can still work and they can still bring in coin.
You are roboting.
Oh, fact. Give me a second. How do I sound now?
Better.
Okay, did you get what I said before?
I got the gist of it.
Okay.
And what of the rest of you? What do you think?
Honestly, I'm not much for government affairs. I don't know much about how you royal types like to run your cities. Never been particularly my purview. I'm more of a forest-dwelling gal who makes potions. I do know that people do enjoy distraction. And to go along with what my friend has just said, distraction's nice, but you have to rebuild your foundations before distractions really work. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe the best course of action is to set in motion your rebuild and have a couple of small things done in the way of distraction so it takes people's mind off of the fact that everything's having to be built back from square one.
So you're suggesting take the money that we would have for these, split it in two, use some of it for said distractions, while the rebuilding process is occurring in the background.
I know it would cause a lot of disturbance in both fronts, but honestly, that's what I imagine might work. Otherwise, perhaps, and I don't know how you do it, you could potentially make part of the reconstruction be these distractions. Communities like helping each other.
Have the soon-to-be king out there helping his people.
Well, yeah, but royalty helps people by making sure things are in order. That's kind of the whole point of royalty, is to keep order. I understand wanting to be a king of the people, wanting to help people directly. Certainly going to earn you some brownie points with your subjects. But may not be the best move at this current moment.
The people already have mixed feelings on him. And at the mention of that from the man in the back, the Goliath, a few members of this table kind of glance back and forth and kind of shift a little bit at the mention of that. Public opinion of him is not in the greatest of favors currently, anyhow.
Well, if he proves himself to be someone capable of keeping this rebuilding effort in order, then it should help his public opinion.
We shall see. Many people actually are blaming him for this.
Well, what if he had a scapegoat for someone else to blame?
The prince kind of just like fingers on the bridge of nose. I'd rather not have a scapegoat as opposed to just not. Let's just put it this way. Scapegoats are all well and good, but then that just brings it down on somebody else. The Goliath then pipes up. It's more so the fact that this city was not privy to letting outsiders enter. So, for instance, you four, as mercenaries, we wouldn't have contracted you had he not made a particular rule. We used to be secluded, reclusive, not in contact with most of the other nations. We kept to ourselves and no one bothered us. But now that we've opened our gates, more issues have sprung up. We now find ourselves needing to weaponize our walls and bolster our defenses more.
Do you believe this is being brought in by other nations?
Other nations, dissenters, people who want him dead, maybe, we don't know. Or it could just be the trouble of opening doors to others when unnecessary.
And if you close one door, people will find a way through. People will always have found a way through closed doors.
Once you've shut a door that was previously open, people are going to start wondering why it's shut. That'll hurt public opinion even more.
Past 10,000 years, we've been fine. Very few skirmishes ever needed to come, ever had to come about. And the only times we ever did, well, let's just say certain beasts ended up causing issue for us that we needed to deal with.
Well, I've said what I know. I unfortunately don't have answers if you're seeking it. I don't know if any of my companions have them either. Opinions we can give, but answers, those are hard.
The home I come from is much different from here.
Oh, we know.
And there's nothing that I know that could help.
The shard mine looks to both Torgrim as well as me. You two have been awfully quiet.
Oh no, I don't like the way he's talking to Miki.
Miki's just kind of standing there kind of awkwardly, clutching at the strap of her bag of holding. I'm just like, I don't know much about this kind of stuff. I figured it'd be better if I be quiet and let those who do know talk.
As for me, I I agree with my friends here. Should focus, well, at least my opinion, on rebuilding. Not only will it help you with public opinion, it will help you with gaining some trust. And also rebuilding your city, repairing the damage.
Definite focus should be on... No, sorry.
As for opening your doors, it is to be expected that you will have problems. What can you do besides be cautious? Everything has been reactionary so far, as most things are. Something happens, reaction happens.
I believe as it stands, most of your focus should be on the rebuilding effort, though. As much as distractions might help people ignore the stresses of this new life that's been brought about, if you just keep distracting them, then they're gonna realize that the peace they've known is really falling apart. Y'all finding yourselves in a tough situation.
Well, my prince, it seems like they have given that insight. Indeed. Tall, you'll funnel 30 million to focus on the effort of rebuilding the businesses, paying for damages, as well as paying for reparations to anyone who has lost a loved one. Torl makes a note on a pad paper. There is a little bit of people kind of resettling after that matter. And then the prince looks over to a human man that is looks to be fairly decorated. Vantis. Yes, my lord. What's the current standing against the shall we say what's the current standing on the fronts that we have? Well, it seems that the gnolls are getting to be problematic, my lord. It seems that they are becoming equipped as well as more well-armored, going so far as to, shall we say, bond metal to flesh.
Mm.
There's a bit of a silence at that. And if anyone would like to, they can roll insight checks.
I do.
Roll what now?
Insight checks.
Insight.
If I'm offered to make a roll, I'm always going to try.
Alright, roll
I rolled poorly.
We're all rolling poorly. I rolled a 9.
7.
Oh!
Narcissus is still squeezing Torgrim's hand like her life depends on it.
Torgrim is fine because he's a strong boy.
It's very tense in this room. Even though there are very few of them, the words they're speaking are of very great importance. And also, a few of these exchanges do seem a little concerning. It seems like this council is a little bit ramshackle, in the sense of this might be the very first, group that's ever been assembled like this.
I don't like that shard mind, though. She's giving me the heebie-jeebies.
He's a kind of creepy.
He hasn't done anything wrong.
It's just general creepy vibes.
I mean, this is just a crystal man.
He's also been staring at Miki.
Miki is a tiny owl person. Of course people are going to stare at her.
Night.
Yes?
When Annabelle hears about the bonding of metal to flesh, would she know anything about that? given the magical practices the menagerie studies?
This doesn't sound magical. This sounds more of literally taking burning metal and putting it onto their skin. Is the way they're kind of like talking of it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if Horgan would know anything about this.
So it's kind of like they're essentially doing this so that if they get, like, say, shot by an arrow, it doesn't go into their skin. It just hits the metal.
Okay.
So that means taking them out from a distance, a little bit harder for the common soldier.
Gotcha.
And there's talks about vessels and ships being utilized to possibly try and swing the tides of these conflicts.
Do you have any allies that are druids, like the ones that are in the Burning Forest?
An elderly man speaks up at this. We do not usually... The ones who reside within the forest, the wood wardens, I believe they call themselves, we don't really get along with them. They seem to believe that the city itself is an affront to nature, when we actually haven't cut any trees down or anything.
Well, it might not be a bad idea to start trying to forge some more friendly ties with them. I haven't worked with too many druids in my time, but the few I have, I've seen that they have some particularly powerful magic when it comes to dealing with foes coated in metal. It might be worth your time to at least have some of your researchers study that type of magic. Find a way to utilize it.
It's not a matter of trying to utilize that magic. I know the spell of... have the ability to send out enough of these mages and wizards and the like in order to bolster the ranks. Most of the people that are dealing with these things, these gnolls, are just common soldiers with swords and like. They're not magic users. We have a caster's corps, but they're not currently available at the moment.
Then take the ones on the home front and have them make scrolls and potions. I know that's a thing that can be done. That's what I do. It's not hard to do. You don't need a caster, all you need's the magic. I know you have a branch of the Magical Menagerie. I'm not a high-ranking member of it myself, but you could always call for help and have many of those scrolls produced so your soldiers can have a fighting chance.
If you can churn out a few 100,000 of them, then that would be useful, yes. But that would take quite some time. These creatures number at least... what was it? And then the female at the table kind of leans in. They number at least, if memory serves me correct from what the scouts have said, 500,000 strong, if not more.
Night Hunter.
Yes.
Are gnolls something that Narcissus' patron would be abhorred to?
Roll a religion check.
Roll religion. I got a 5.
Given the information you've received from what they've just been basically talking about, you're not 100% sure. They don't sound like anything that's technically considered undead, because from the way they're sounding, or describing it, it sounds like they're not undead, but you're not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but it does. You know she does not like the undead persuasion.
Yeah, she seems to be mouthing something to herself as she's like, is that...
But yes, young lady, their numbers are in and our numbers are roughly 70,000-80,000 strong. So we are a bit, how you say, I believe the term is, I believe the correct term would be up a creek without a paddle. Is that right? I don't know.
It's close.
Yes, anywho. So, unless we can get said magical potions and scrolls in those numbers for the common soldier and hope that they are able to use them in time before being killed, it would be nice. It would be something we can definitely look into. It's just a matter of,
if you need more timely manner, then your only option is getting those allies.
well, we do have a few people who are trying to do that, and Mr. Applebottom here is one of those allies, and he is actually helping us look into others. Filbert's just kind of sitting there, like, with a big doofy smile, like, I'm at a meeting, and he waves to all of you.
Do a slight wave. Are those shadows looking weird?
There's a few. There's about 9 now in this room. It looks like there's about 1 for that are sitting down, like their normal shadows, and then there's another one that just kind of goes up further on the wall.
I'm looking at that shadow like, I don't like it. It's like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that there.
Perhaps what can be done is you can actually try to make some acquaintances with these wood wardens. I know they may think you're an affront, but the only way to disprove that is to speak to them. And they're probably not going to speak to you in mass.
It might be wise to send a few scouts out in order to deliver messages, inform them not to go and do anything stupid, as some of them are privy to do. The Goliath is kind of just sitting back in the corner, just watching this. And the prince is kind of just nodding along as the conversation progresses. And he kind of snaps out of weird little like daisies and, sorry, you four, yes, if you want to head over to, points to an adjoining set of doors, that room, be over there short. Sorry.
It's fine, Prince. You're busy right now.
So, do you all proceed to enter into that room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annabelle's not one for denying the orders of royalty.
If they have to go near Filbert, Narcissa is taking a wide berth around those shadows.
Thankfully, he is on the, as you're facing Soren, he's on the right side of the table, whereas you guys are making your way toward the left side of the table to go around to that door. So, you enter into the room, and...
Is Mr. Crystal Man still looking at Miki?
Yes, he's still eyes trained on...
I wonder why the fuck he's looking at Miki for. I mean, other than the fact that she is small owl.
Maybe he's a rock who just likes birds.
Maybe.
Narcissa is going to kind of shuffle Miki in before her because she does not like the way that he's looking at Miki.
I love how everyone's concerned when he probably just wants to pet Miki.
Narcissa does not trust most things. Let's go.
Alrighty, so...
We don't know why he's staring. That's the thing.
So, as the party enters their way into the side room, you are met with the sight of the 3 guards who have been near him. Let's see. Just double check my notes.
Just gonna give him a friendly nod.
Yes, the halfling who has the large axe, like very unseemly sized axe, the human man, as well as the half-elf. And they just kind of wave to you. There's also another person in the room, of which you have. He's kind of like in the weird chair that's like in the corner, but gets blocked by the door.
So we accidentally hit him.
You almost do. It's like, oh,
Careful now. Please don't hit me. I'd rather not get smacked into the door.
Doors.
Who's this person?
And this person kind of leans in and looks at all of you. Kind of looks at Miki.
Hi.
And as he's kind of chuckling,
his smile's a little bit bigger than it should be. His teeth look kind of sharp.
It's another dragon.
His arm goes around the tiny bird, staring at him like, what do you want? It's like, what do you want with my friend?
What check would one make to determine this being's actual race?
Intelligence check.
Alright, let's go.
Shite!
Let's see if 12! Let's see if Torgrim rolls a 5.
Let's see if Miki can get it with her modifier of 0. 10.
This fellow looks to be like a man, but it's just like one of those instances where his mouth just looks a little too big for some reason. And it's just like his canine teeth are just a little bit sharper. Not like they're like filed down or anything, but just like they're sharper. And he's just kind of like sitting there smiling. Wow, this would be mighty interesting.
What are you?
He kind of stands up. You notice he's wearing a black kind of like duster jacket, and he's got kind of like a nicer looking shirt on. A nicer like dress shirt, some plain trousers with like a blue vest on. He reaches a hand out and puts another one behind his back. My name's Altras. Pleasure to meet you.
Narcissa will shake his hand. Narcissa, is he taller than her?
Yes, he is. Just barely, but...
She's giving him the look of, like, I'm being nice here, but I don't trust you one fucking bit.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Likewise.
Looks over to Miki. And you?
She sticks her hand out to shake his. It's like, I'm Miki.
Shakes your hand as well. Kind of takes like a half step over to the rest of the group. Looks over to Torgrim and Annabelle. And your names?
You can call me Anna.
Torgrim.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Anna, Torgrim, Narcissa, and Miki. My name is Altras. I am the Princess Combat Tutor. It's a pleasure to meet you all.
So you're the one who taught him how to use all those fancy...
You cut out.
I said, so you're the one who taught him how to use all...
You keep cutting out on that very last portion. Right?
Tools.
Okay, sorry. Yes, that would be me. I've taught him a few useful things, as well as manners of combat with, and he kind of pulls from the back of his duster. You see two large metal gauntlets looking very, very close to something that you've seen, Torg.
How do name, by the way. I'm taking notes of this. Thank you.
Curious and curious here.
And he kind of puts them back behind, essentially on his back, and clips them.
Question: if you punch me with those, would I die?
Kind of puts his left one on. I mean, this is my bad hand, but if you want, we can.
Oh,
have
please
a go
don't.
at it.
Wait,
And he has that like
the
he has that wolfish grin to him, just like if she says yes, I'm probably not gonna do it, but it kind of.
Well, no one's ever called me a coward.
Oh,
Are you?
Oh no.
Are you?
I want to know what the prince can do, so getting punched by his teacher is going to tell me a lot.
Okay. This is his offhand.
Punch me. Will hit.
Mickey's face palming and hiding in the corner. She doesn't want to see her friend get
I have 8 health
eviscerated.
potions on my person. I'm fine.
Does a 27 hit you?
Of course it does. Why are you asking?
I just want to make sure.
No, it doesn't. I did something terrible.
Don't say I. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
You take.
The silence is concerning.
You take 32 points of damage.
And Annabelle's on the ground.
As you just kind of, you know the 1-inch punch?
Yeah.
He just kind of does that, like, just hold still. This
Right.
will probably hurt. I just want you to know.
Oh yeah, I assume this is probably gonna. Yep, on the butt.
She is now down, and he walks over and takes his glove, and you see some of the runes on the knuckles light up, and he kind of taps her forehead, and you are back up. Let me see how much you heal. You are back up 16 hit points.
Awesome.
And you are now snapped back into consciousness. There's a little bit of blood on on the corner of your mouth.
She just holds her hand up where she's lying on the ground, 3 fingers held up. 3 ribs. That just broke 3 of my ribs.
And that's my bad hand.
I will keep that in mind.
Also, I didn't actually.
Annabelle's okay.
Annabelle's okay, young one. Trust me.
I asked for that.
Mickey
Quite
turns
literally.
back around too.
What literally she asked for that. I cannot stress that enough. Also, fun fact, I didn't actually activate this.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much. You're very strong. Pardon me for a second. As she expels all the blood from her lungs.
Alright, so we're gonna need to clean that up. He just starts casting prestidigitation. Just like, okay. Just, okay, magic squeegee that up. We're gonna get rid of that.
That's clean now.
Both the tiefling and the bird are looking at this dude like, I don't, with that very suspicious stare. Like, I just don't, it's the I don't like you look.
Torgrim is curiously eyeing his gauntlet this entire time.
Okay.
Come on, see if I can punch you and you'd even feel it.
If you would like, go for it.
I'm almost certain that you won't. I am not very strong.
Well, you're never gonna know till you try.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that would just be a D20 plus 2. She literally does not have a strength modifier. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, no. That's just like... Tap.
I'm not very strong.
Also, I have a picture of these to show you. So
you have a picture of him?
No, I don't have a picture of him. I have a picture of the gauntlets of his.
Sure, let's see him.
I need to confirm.
That's
what I just got punched by.
Yep, that's what you got 1 inch punched by.
Oh, those are nasty looking and cool.
I'm gonna start muttering stuff under my breath, as if talking to myself about what just happened.
You said they were awfully similar. Can I like roll things and make sure that are these the gauntlets that my dad made?
Roll intelligent. Actually, roll a. Let's see. You can choose either history or investigation, whichever one is higher. Like, I'm not.
They both don't have any modifiers, so I'm
Okay.
kind of. It doesn't matter. I'll roll an investigation. 4.
They look very similar. The runes might be a little different, but Annabelle, these things are lighting the fuck up.
Yeah, I know.
I know a way how to confirm if they're the actual gauntlets or not.
You want to get punched by him? It hurts. Actually, it didn't hurt at all, because I immediately passed out.
Oh no, he doesn't need to get punched by them. He just needs to look at the palm side of them.
So, Altres, is there a reason that you're sitting here in the side room and not with your student?
You sure the student's going to be joining us in a little bit once he's done with the cabinet meeting?
Oh yeah, once the cabinet meeting's over. Plus, it never hurts just to let him get some practice in if something does happen. Because we are over here, and he looks at the other 3, at his beck and call. He ordered us to be over here.
Not sure.
Now, it surprises me that you 4 were in that room. It surprises me so.
So why does it surprise you?
Well, from what I understand, he's got your compatriot on a little assignment. I'm surprised he hasn't told you.
We've had other things to worry about.
I'm sure you have. Tell me, how many wolves did each of you kill?
Well, there was... Narcissa starts counting on her fingers. About 2 of the mangy-looking ones, and then... You know that big fucker in the armor?
Big fucker in there. There were a lot of big fuckers in there.
Well, this one was he was a werewolf. Could do some magic. All of us ended up killing him at once.
I actually do not know if I killed any of them.
As you start saying werewolf could do some magic, he kind of like gets a smirk on his face.
Oh, was he a friend of yours?
No, not so much a friend of mine. But, I'm aware of their existence.
Can I roll an insight on that?
Yeah, can. Anyone can.
I want to roll an insight on that.
Oh, hold on, I'm seeing something. Okay, so it's not just like, it's not like it's just rolling poorly, it's okay.
19.
Miki and Torkram? Sharper looking canines, has a bit of a wolfish grin.
He's a blood hunter.
Yeah, he might be. He's got a few scars in places where they wouldn't.
I don't know if Annabelle knows what a blood hunter is.
She does not. She would not. They are strictly forbidden to learn about at your school.
I think.
Who would know about blood hunters in our party?
Hi.
2 people, one of which is in your group right now.
Hi.
Yeah, but you didn't roll high enough.
Yeah, you didn't roll high enough, sorry.
She just also then doesn't like him.
Meanwhile, Annabelle's been ritual casting Identify this whole time and laughs. Just like, haha, you punched me to death. But as her spell finishes casting and she touches those gauntlets.
I can tell you the spells. If you want to know the spells.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second. I have to pull him up on my phone. Because that's where he is.
If you just want to send it to me at a DM so we don't have to go over that right now.
I can just inform you what these things are enchanted with.
Okay. Was just curious. Just curious.
So on the left gauntlet, the pinky rune is a rune for the spell Burning Hands. The ring finger on the left gauntlet is Poison Spray. The middle finger is Shield. The index finger is Cure Wounds. And thumb is Absorb Elements. And the right gauntlet, the pinky, is... The pinky is Tasha's Hideous Laughter. The ring finger is Minor Illusion. The middle finger is Thunderclap. The right index finger is Fireball. And the the right thumb is Dispel Magic.
Alright, and she's just gonna get bombarded with that and step back. Just like,
yeah,
interesting.
When I say light up, they light up. Just boom.
I mean, I imagine she's able to process that, considering she had to process what happened when she tried to identify the Howler.
Yeah, but it's not as bad as that. But it's just like, oh.
So,
I can at least actually understand what is happening in my brain right now.
Are there any available chairs?
Oh yeah, there are 4 chairs. All the exact height necessary for all of you.
Do we have bowls in here?
Narcissa is just gonna sit down and she's...
Do you have what?
Are there bowls in here?
For...
eating food?
Yes. Like, there are some, like, fruit bowls and the like.
I'm gonna take all of the fruit out of one of them and put it in another one. And have that bowl. And I'm going to focus on the bag of bounty.
Okay.
I'm just gonna I'm waiting for the prince to come in for this to happen.
I think I know what Anna's doing.
As this is happening and light conversation is being made, the door, the prince steps in, turns around, closes the door. Okay, someone get me some goddamn coffee right now. I am going to pass the fuck out.
On it.
Okay.
Annabelle.
Anyone have a cup? I need a
Narcissa
cup.
reaches into her bag and pulls out a mug.
Thank you. I'm going to use the bag of bounty to produce some strong coffee and the noodles that Annabelle has had at this point.
Good. All right. So, easily producible. And he's just like, He's like sobbing while eating the noodles, and no one is batting an eye. This is.
I'll let the prince take my chair. I'll just stand.
Figured you might need that.
About 3.5 minutes later, the bowl of noodles is coffee. So, kind of looks at all 8 of you.
Hi.
Turns to the 4 of you. Y'all want to speak with me? Yeah? No?
Yes. I wanted to speak with you about the possible coronation and, the possible assassin attempts and everything of the sort.
Like, is that a thing that's still happening? Do we have to be concerned about that?
I mean, I'm getting coronated no matter what, and more than likely an assassination. You can tell I haven't slept in a couple of days because of this bullshit with the werewolves. But, yeah, it's still happening. I'm still getting crowned king and all of that fun stuff.
I had an idea.
Yes.
It's a simple idea, but I've done it before and it's worked. This spell's able to disguise one to look like another one.
Yeah.
So, what if, possibility, we were to manage to disguise you temporarily during the ceremony when it's most likely someone would attack, to look like a commoner and have somebody else take your place for the time being, your advisors and everyone knowing that, you're safe in the crowd with everyone there around you.
So, issue with that, I actually do have to be crowned because the crown is magical and get placed upon my head. Well, that's an issue.
Kind of figured something like that would come up.
Yeah, we've thought about doing that. Was an option. After getting that fun bit of information from me, not an option anymore.
Have you ever thought about using some more powerful magics just to make a secluded place you could have your coronation in?
The coronation has always been in front of the people, in the grand gardens. That will not change.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because if we end up in a secluded area, then people are going to think only select few can see this happen, when I don't want that.
Yeah, you're drawing a thin line with the public interest right now, it seems.
And your advisors don't seem to be helping much. No offense.
None taken. They're more so, shall we say, quite a few of them have to do with war and killing things. A couple have to do with things like agriculture and, Toral, money, stuff, things.
So it's just a very slapdash council of people.
It's
that
a
are
wide
good in their respective fields, but not good at working together.
It's a wide range of people who I'm going to need advising me coming.
Gotcha.
There are more. However, currently the rest of them are asleep. So I can't really go talk to them and I don't want to bother them because sleep is a very precious commodity right now.
I actually do have to speak with Toral after this, and there's something important we need to discuss.
You need to get someone to cast Lesser Restoration on you to remove that exhaustion, my friend.
Won't be good to the people if you're dead.
My comment was very metagamey, I'm aware. I just wanted to...
No, that's fair. Well, I figure I might as well just keep doing this until it's all over and done with. Makes it a bit easier, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. And it just starts doing that for like a solid minute, and just Altreus is just kind of like slowly just like giving him like little head pats of like, it's okay, calm down, it's okay.
Annabelle's gonna rub his back.
Yeah, that bowl of noodles and that cup of coffee, first things I've gotten to eat and drink over the last couple of days.
We need to eat some fruit and some actual water.
Narcissa will offer up her water skin to him.
I'll be fine. I'm going to eat after this. Anywho. So, you four, I figure you'd like to know what your friend's currently.
That would be nice.
It would be nice
Some
to
of
know what
his-
he's doing.
Some of his old associates have been tasked with potentially killing me. So we have him over there
As what? You cut out.
as a mole. He's learning information and he will be bringing it back to me. So, if they try anything, we can kill them.
That sounds like a plan.
I wouldn't be surprised if any hunters tried to show up.
That's why I have him points to, just from, like, points over his shoulder to Tress, who is still sitting in the corner. Just,
he punched me.
Trace is now getting the major stink guy. He's one of them.
Yes, I am one of them. And I would ask you to calm down and not be all angry.
Isn't the whole point of, fighting against a people, like, that's the whole point you have moles. Usually when you've got one on your side, it's really beat them since you know how they work.
Exactly.
Someone's also gonna kind of, like, nudge Narcissa and kind of whisper to her, the ones who fought with, savagery, there are some people who know how to control themselves.
Still don't trust him.
Oh, by the way, and he looks over to you, Narcissa, you and I need to have a discussion later.
Have a discussion with the prince in private, but I don't think I'm gonna get that opportunity.
Oh, he'll be taking private conversations in a little while. He's just wanting to update you the go. And I think he has a question for all four of you. And Stelrin just kind of like turns back to all four of you, still very like half awake. Ha! So, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, Tress, what was discussion about payments? Oh, yeah, that's right. He just like starts pulling out 4 small pouches and starts like setting them on like a little table. And then he kind of just like the weird Will Smith, here you go thing. The weird gesture.
Annabelle has not stopped rubbing his back this time.
Payment for...
killing the werewolves and, doing that fun stuff.
I didn't kill anything.
She'll Narcissa will slide her kind of pouch back towards him. Use it for helping people. I don't.
Fair enough.
I don't need it.
I mean, I lack money, but I actually don't think I killed a werewolf that whole time. I helped fight them, but I didn't kill any of them.
I mean, you have damaged that one in the armor very much.
I stabbed him with a lot of poison.
It's very useful poison.
I'm very good with poison.
Though you
I do not mean that threateningly, Prince.
Oh, no, don't worry about that. Yeah, no.
Sorry about that.
I think a construct fell outside. Oh. Poor thing.
It'll stand back up.
Ah! My leg!
I'll try it, so I figured you and I could have a conversation away from here. You can find me at the empty trough.
I think I'd rather have that discussion a little bit before you leave the building premises.
Well, I mean, I have to find Coral somewhere around here.
Oh, yeah, he's gonna be sticking around.
So maybe you can help me find him.
Alright, well then.
You are very tense.
Yes, I am very, yeah. Very, very tense. Very,
I'm gonna use my elbow. This is gonna hurt for a bit, but trust me, it'll feel better afterwards.
Are you, like, doing the elbow massage thing?
Annabelle actually knows how to give massages.
It's just like,
Sitting in a chair all day is hunched over is not good for posture or back.
I just need to lie down. I need to go find Fluffles.
That would probably be good for
him. Well, last question for you four. Did you want to take the job or not? If you don't, that is fine.
The one of protecting the coronation?
Yeah.
For personal matters, yes, I do.
I do too. There are things I need to attend to here. And I think protecting the carnation would be very useful for certain things.
I'm going to be very transparent with my reasoning. I would like to have favor with the new king of the land.
Oh, that is totally, like, points to the 3 over the 3 others. They kind of want that too. So, I mean, yeah, that's fine. It helps.
Mickey's being very quiet.
You alright, Miki?
I'm fine.
Do you want to, do this job with us? You don't have to.
I know, I think I just need to do some thinking.
Oh, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Looks over to Torgrim.
Torgrim, are you down?
Yes.
Torgrim is down.
He's down to clown with this fool.
Wonderful. So that's 3 yeses, 1 think on it. Wonderful. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go gorge my face and then go take a nap on my owlbear.
Sounds like a plan.
Enjoy your rest, Majesty.
Goodbye. Oh, yeah?
Before you leave, I would, being a blacksmith, if you have need of me somewhere in your palace or somewhere in the city to help you make weapons and such, feel free to call upon me. I'll be happy to help.
Kind of points at you. I might have something for you later. But first, food and slip.
Torgrim nods. Rest well.
Annabelle's finally gonna let go of the prince.
He kind of turns to the door and just kind of like walks out of it. The 3 follow. The 3 bodyguards that he has follow. Altras is still in the room.
Eloise, could you possibly go with Torgrim for the time being?
Torgrim kind of extends his arm out for Eloise to land on.
Eloise lands on your head.
Alright, whatever.
I'm used to this.
This is a very defiant bird.
So,
in case we haven't noticed.
It's just a bird. Probably doesn't weigh much. Whatever.
Altras, that talk.
Follow me.
She will.
This is intended to be a private thing?
Not as of right now. So you all don't have to mute yourselves or anything.
Okay.
But he kind of turns to the rest of you. Did any of you also need to go visit Mr. Reptile?
I don't need to visit Mr. Reptile, but no one... Now having an idea of your particular skill set, I actually do have a question for you.
And I have an answer.
I hope so. Can
It
I
won't
ask
mind
it?
Oh, you can ask it right now, yeah.
Do you know Celio?
Yes.
Who is he?
Well, that depends. Why do you want to know?
Because we killed him.
Oh, good.
Specifically, I killed him.
Oh, very good. I applaud you.
She saved me from dying from his poison.
I got a lot of that crap in my mouth. I am glad that is not the first time I have extracted away.
Yeah, no, he was a little shit. We were hoping someone was going to kill him after a while, but apparently the stupid-ass mayor decided to take him in.
So you all knew that was what happened to Valithia?
Oh, no. We didn't know, but we were informed after you came back and said that you killed him, and found out that's what happened in the town.
Has there been any progress on Locke and his journal?
It has been sent off to a few, shall we say, trusted and well-trained individuals.
Good.
Since you're accepting questions, I have one for you.
And what might that be?
Who made your gauntlet? Roughly familiar.
Well, Mr. Ironstorm, I am a little disappointed that you do not recognize your father's handiwork.
I suspected as much. I just like to confirm.
He's kind of got that smile again. Oh, good. At least you were able to recognize it. I did have to make a few modifications to it. I am sorry, but there's only such specifics that can be done before they, shall we say, taste blood.
Torrance nods. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make. By the way, when he mentioned his reaction to Celio, could I have made an insight?
Yes, you can.
I'm curious as to what if that's his actual feelings, and if that appears that he has proper knowledge of who Celio is.
He knows. You get the sense that he's a little sad that he didn't get to do it. Maybe because he was stuck here. And didn't get sent to fun.
Everyone can see Narcissa staring daggers at the back of this man's neck.
I have one more question.
Not to show it.
Yes.
In my research of what we found there, I heard text talking about a relic called the Howler. Do you know what that is?
I have heard. I've heard a little bit about it. I have yet to see one.
One? So there's multiple.
Night, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Okay,
Yes.
there we go.
Hello.
Okay, good. Alright. When did you lose me?
When I asked one, so there's multiple.
Yes. There have been a few throughout the years. However, they do different things. Some drive people to go a little, insane. Some make them go feral, shall we say. The more you use them, the different things happen. They are not by nature dangerous. Well, technically speaking, all magical items are by nature some way, shape, or form dangerous. But shall we say, if used properly, they can be a great asset. If abused, they can be very dangerous.
Well, good. I've only been using the one I have to search for chemicals. And she does say that out loud.
Oh, so that's what you've been using it for.
Yep. Makes it real easy to sniff things out.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I got it from Celio.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Well, his corpse. It's a sword now.
Just kind of squints at that. He kind of like just fingers finger bridge of nose. God damn flamboyant son of a bitch.
Yep. I have no interest in not being transparent with you all. I'm not certain if it's the case, but I've noticed how they reacted when I used the items in their presence. I believe that werewolf attack of days past might have been caused by the sword and the howler being in the city. It feels like they were searching.
That might be. But you and I can discuss that more later.
Of
And
course.
Narcissus is going to leave the room. Just waiting for him to catch up with her.
Well,
And I'll
it seems like someone is wanting to take this a little faster pace than I thought.
Go easy on her.
Okay.
Well, I honestly don't know what she's gonna do. She can temper.
Well, has Narcissa left the room at this point?
Oh yes, she has. She left.
And like she's like walking.
She has walked like outside of like the meeting room and just waiting there with her arms crossed. Her tail flick furiously.
Okay.
She's still staring at him.
Okay.
If she was still within earshot, then I would have said that. That's only.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Or is she still she's still within earshot?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks over to you, Annabelle, and just kind of whispers, "It's a family thing."
Oh yeah, then definitely take it easy.
Kind of walks out of the room. Just kind of turns on the ball of his heel so that they're face to face, but the party can see, and they're still in the doorway. Well, kind of looks at you up and down, because like a smart. I didn't imagine this is what my niece would look like.
Excuse.
And that's where we're going to end.
Oh!
I like how the session ends on a dash cut from "Excuse me." Don't squeak too loud.
Oh no!
As one who squeaks, you cannot help how loud the squeak will come.
Yes, you can.
I have been.
No, you can't.
I have been holding that ever since you walked in the goddamn room.
I do not like this. I don't like this.
I don't like it either.
No, I don't like it more than you don't like it. You don't understand.
Listen, I'm now like this. Oh God! Wait, what? I have an uncle.
So.
Did everybody hear that, or was it just Narcissa?
Everyone, he said it loud enough for. Was very.
Oh God! Torpor is now. Oh no.
So the reason I asked where you were in relation to the group, Andy, was because he would have made sure that.
That.
You kind of cut out.
No, he's speaking. It's just he's lighting up. It's just we can't hear him.
Oh, better? Yes. Okay. So the reason I asked where you were in relation to the rest of the group is because he was wanting to make sure that, if she hits him, it's not like it's totally not. It's not.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He's just stating a fact.
I hate that I'm gonna have to wait another week to be like, excuse me?
Yeah, I was kind of like, I want to get to this part. We're just gonna leave it right there.
Sorry about taking so long asking about the house, but
oh no, that's totally fine.
Unlike Kundo with his magical items, Annabelle is very honest.
You found the right person to talk to about that, I will say.
I figured I did.
You found the right person to talk to. So yeah,
I hate this.
You have now met one of my children. Congratulations.
Yee.
I love him and hate him before. I love him and hate him.
He punched me to death.
Did you lose the art? Did you lose the art that you had before, Valterius?
I might be getting someone to make action of him, so that's why I'm not putting the face to it yet.
It was just like, oh wait, my mind connects this person with that. Oh god. And then Narcissus is gonna learn more about her patron next week. Oh god, it's gonna. God, poor Narcissus, she's gonna have a mind fuck. How do you think Torgrim feels? Dude,
Andy,
how do you think Torgrim feels? What?
Remember how I said in that little chat yesterday that I had plans?
Oh god, did you talk with the?
No.
Did you? Okay, God. Oh god. Should we go into the promoting stuff because my mind is still? Oh god.
So as normal, starting with you, Andy.
Hello, friends. I am Andy. I play D&D on Sunday at twitch.tv/Citizen. I would be posting all the links in the chat when I'm done promoting everything. Mondays. Sundays you find us there at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then you find us again around like 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have Dungeons and Discussions, where we talk about a previous session. You can come, join the chat, talk with us. We talk about all sorts of weird things. Night Hunter can attest because he was at the last one. Indeed. Or we talked about Canadian PSAs and all that kind of stuff.
Indeed.
Yes. And then you can find us on Twitter at World of Iona, where we post updates of when we're having the game, if we're having the game, fun stuff about our characters. We have art of our characters up there made by the lovely Eric Martin dude. And then you can find us also on YouTube, where we post VODs of, Dungeons and Discussions and all that kind of, fun stuff of the session, where we've done, you can catch up of the past, I think almost 20 episodes of all the weird shenanigans we've gotten up into. So yeah, that's me. And there's the link bomb. Everybody else?
Ish, you got anything?
Hello, Ash.
I am not have any good. No.
I don't have anything either.
So, Night Hunter, that leaves you. Do you have any announcements, shout-outs, stuff like that?
As of right now, no. More than likely I will later, but as of right now, no.
Alright, so then on to the last one of the evening. You can find myself, Ash and Andy, here again on Thursday at, I think we're going to be starting at 8 p.m. EST. Where we will also have different DM in Mythosia, and then the two additional players of Armored Hunter and Dark Savior, where we will be seeing whether or not we actually defeat God.
Hey, God.
First time around.
Yeah. I doubt. Well, we didn't cheat. We didn't mean to cheat. It's just Myth did not expect Zorali to be like, I'm gonna dispel the timeout bubble.
So you cheated.
Anyway.
Will you quit harping on that? Myth didn't say we couldn't do it, so it was perfectly legal to try.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be here again on this channel at that time on Thursday, where we will continue that fight because we had to stop in the middle of it, but it is what it is. And we'll see if we actually, finish it or if we're going to have to do it again. Who knows? We just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's that. So if everybody's ready to just call it a night and say goodbyes, we can do that and I can end the stream.
Goodbye, guys. Oh, God.
Good newt.
Oh, God.
A good newt from the newt hunter.
Oh, God.
He'll bring you a good newt.
Oh, my.
I'm still reeling.
Alright, well, good night, everybody.